sport fans watching around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Let's get straight into the episode.
Yeah, we heading for the sun. Shawty got my high, I ain't tripping for the funds. Yeah, I won't start, I ain't tripping, I'm a stun.
Before we start, I need to say something to you that I say to everyone that comes on, but I would not be saying it if it wasn't true. You're sitting here because I find you interesting. That's because you are an interesting person. I want to learn more about you, how you think, and how you feel. And I love to have the opportunity to be able to share this experience. So I really appreciate you coming over. Thank you for sitting down. And ladies and gentlemen listening, it's a long lost childhood friend that we didn't even know existed until only a few years ago. I've missed him. It's been a long time since I've seen him. It's Sam Toucan Sam, the best damn man in the whole damn land. It's Slam and Sam. It's
Stan Loupton.
I've heard the little story. I'll find out what it is. And for those who don't know him, this is Sam Louden.
Cheers, man. Thanks for having me. What an intro, eh? Fucking hell.
All right. Now, Fossey did tell me the Stan Loupton. I wish I got it, but it's alright.
Man.
What the hell is Stan Loupton, bro?
I was, I'm at uni, so I was doing I've just been doing cash shit for fucking whoever. And Dad come up to me, he's like, I got heaps of waste, off a site. Can you take it down to the scrap metal place in Penrith? I was like, yeah, easy. And I took it in, and I'm on the weighbridge, and there's fuck, bro, he's like a walking fossil, bro. He's that old. He's sitting in his chair and he's like, what's your name? And I'm like, Sam. He's like, how do you spell it? I'm like, S-A-M.
Yeah,
he's like mad. He's
how
like,
does he spell it?
bro. And then he's like, last name? I'm like, Louden. He goes, spell it. I spelled it out for him. And then I get the receipt and I look at it and it says Stan Loupton. And I was like, is this cunt for real?
And you spelled it.
I spelled it out for him and he still fucking muddled it. I was like, you're kidding.
Right.
So straight away, I took a picture of it. I was like, boys, get a load. Let's crack up.
That's gold.
It was good quality.
Yeah. I went to a fucking Airbnb. No, what is it? It was a motel 3 days ago in Newcastle. Had to check in at 9:30. It was some last minute plan. I didn't get to go home that day. I was fucking trying, but couldn't get done. Anyway, I go there. The bloke's like, what's your card details? Read them out. And then he's like, yeah, it didn't work. I'm like, well, let's try it again. I read them out. And then you'd be 432 and he'd go 422. No, 432. Oh, 432. 551. I'm making this up, anyone, so don't bother trying. Don't bother
Social
trying.
security number it is.
Yeah. And then 10 minutes, this guy just could not string together these numbers. Tried it, didn't work. I'm like, bro, can I please have the FBOS machine? You know what I mean? This is a fucking joke. Yeah. Some people are fucking so retarded.
Honestly, it's like, fuck, bro. And in a job where all you've got to do is listen and fucking type. Bro.
Yeah.
Let's crack up. I love it.
And then he's like, oh, I forgot the 2. I'm like, of course you did, bro. Of course you did.
I know, bro. I heard you miss it. Fuck me.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than when you see someone fucking up, but you're like, oh, he's trying to do his thing. Do I stop him or because it's so demoralizing, especially when it happens to you. You're like, yeah, I'm cruising, and someone's like, oh, that's wrong, and you're like, fuck, thanks,
no, it's
man.
not.
You're like, fuck. Shit.
Yeah.
I
think
that.
I'd know, and then you're like, oh, fuck, it is.
Yeah, it's nothing worse too when you're so confident. You're like, yeah, man, I'm right. You're so wrong. And then they whip out, they fact check you, and you're like,
oh. Yeah. Why couldn't you just let me live in this denial? You know what
I know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fucking just let me go, but other times, man, it's like, cheers for pulling me up, hey. I would have been so wrong, in front of the wrong person or something too. That's my worst fear.
Oh, bro. I just do it, eh? I just roll with it. When I do the wrong thing in front of someone, I'm just like, this is me.
Yeah, 100%. But someone brings to me hard fucking cross-checked evidence.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, thank you. So I don't say something dumb in front of someone, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows how long this would have went
on. Oh, fuck, man. And they're sitting there, they're like, I've been waiting for this moment. And they just unleash, talking to, anyone that talks to, Jack.
Yeah.
He's super anti-flat earthers and all this shit.
Yeah.
He's telling me the other day, some guy at work was trying to convince him that the earth is flat. We overheard a conversation and he stood up and all the boys were like, oh, fucking here we go. And bro, he's like, bro, I fucking nailed this cunt over lunch for 30 minutes. That sounds really bad. He's like, oh, bro. He's
I pinned this bloke up against the wall for 30 minutes.
No, he's like, no, I roasted this bloke for 30 minutes. Went over lunch. He goes, poor bloke. He's like, I didn't even get to eat. It's so funny.
That's gold.
Yeah,
then I'm just going to pause this. I'm gonna move this camera.
Yeah,
It should
yeah.
be right back for. There's always something I'm forgetting, right?
No,
Always
that's
something.
alright. Oh, fuck, it
Always
is,
something.
it is what it is. But
Alright, speaking of flat earthers, we had this bloke at Green Valley side I was on, and he was like, and I want to believe in flat earth, bro. Like, I really want to. Like,
I get ya.
It's probably my most favorite thing that I can hold on to. That's like, please,
like, and just turn everything on its head. Like, it'd be like, fuck, it'd be so funny.
yeah. And it's like, I don't believe it. That if it ever turns out to be true, I'm like, I knew it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're like,
Fucking
I've
knew
been
it.
holding my breath about this all these years. Like,
I
knew something was
bro,
up.
I watched documentary after documentary. I've listened to all these TikTokers talk about it.
Yeah.
And I've tried, but it's like they just can't convince me. You know what I mean?
Nah.
Like, it's so close.
It's like, I'm sure you're right. Maybe.
yeah.
No,
I
that's
just
mad.
can't believe that there's that many people pulling in the lie. You know what I mean? Like,
Ah.
everyone that studies anything ever is lying. You
Yeah,
know what I
honestly,
mean?
that's like, that's been such a thing for me. I fucking love it. Like, there's this guy. Now that I'm here, I'll forget his name. He's been on Joe Rogan a couple times, and he's got that show on Netflix, Ancient
Oh,
Apocalypse.
Graham Hancock.
Yeah, Graham Hancock. Like,
Reoccurring
he's a
mention for this
fucking.
podcast.
I can
Yeah,
imagine that. He's a
Yeah,
G. I just love like how he challenges everything, like with just like because he's a journalist, not a scientist or archaeologist or anything.
Yeah.
He's just like, bro, this is what I found.
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna tell me I'm wrong? Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you're
And
mad.
he says
dog.
it so well. He's like, this could be a possibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let's not
yeah.
say
Like
it
he's not
is.
saying like it is, but he's just like, you know,
Yeah.
if 1 + 1 is 2, then
Yeah.
like all I'm saying is like, you know, like wink, wink.
It's like, I have a male duck and a female duck, and I had a baby. It could be a dog. You know what I mean? Like, we
Or
don't
it
know.
could be what you think it is, which is a dog. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
tell you it's wrong, but
Yeah, I love it. Bro. He's a
Likelihood.
hero, boy.
yeah,
Graham Hancock.
he's a weapon. I've been meaning to buy his books for a while now.
I should do that, actually.
I've been like thinking about it, and I'm just like, I keep forgetting about it, and then I think about it, and I'm like, fuck, I haven't got any money this week. I'll do it next week.
Yeah.
And then I just forget
And
about
then
it
you get
again.
money, and you're like, fuck, let's go have a mad time.
Yeah, I'm like, let's go to the pub. Like,
I wish there was something I needed to buy.
yeah, man. Yeah, it's always like that. Whenever I've got money, I'm like, fuck, I swear I had like a list
Yeah.
in my head of shit that I wanted to buy.
Yeah.
And as soon as that last cent's gone, I'm like, fuck, I just remember everything.
Fuel.
Oh, it's like, fuck, how am I going to get to work, bro? Fuck,
Yeah.
I love the way the world works like that sometimes.
Yeah,
though.
it's
It's so
mad.
funny.
The full circle, as I just remembered, I was actually going to talk about this bloke from Green Valley with the flat earth. I forgot.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
I get sidetracked all the time. This guy, he was like, just hardcore about the earth is flat, and like, I enjoy the conversation because I know he's crazy, but it's like, I know as much as him because I want to believe it. So I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, it full is. Like, I'm like, I'm
Just
checking
jamming
this guy up
Yeah.
hard. And then one day he went from the extreme to like, bro, you got to watch these videos, man. I'm telling you, like, it's 100% fact. Like, you know, they actually put human feces. There's actually human feces inside of McDonald's meat, and like, they actually they actually crush up baby fetuses, and like, they use it as Dorito flavoring. And I'm like,
What?
I'm like, this is why the earth is round, bro. You know what I mean?
Bro, it gets to a point where you're like, yeah, entertain me. And you're like, all right, stop speaking. Like,
I couldn't shake him, bro. He followed me like a fucking barfly, bro. I couldn't shake it. Eh?
oh, fuck.
I opened a can of worms. I'm like, no, bro.
Oh, that's the worst. Like, unintentionally, too. You're like, you know what? I might just hear what he has to say. And then you're like, fuck, bro, I can't sleep. Like, it's 3 days later. You're like, fuck, man, it haunts me.
Yeah, I got a mate, Suki. Shout out to Suki. I know you might be listening, and all the boys, just make sure he hears this clip anyway. But he's like full conspiracist. Like, he's my
Yeah, love
most
it.
conspiracist mate.
Yeah.
And he believes, and I want to have him do a podcast, but he's been a fucking pussy, so fucking do an episode. So he reckons there's things like your soul gets like this fucking bad energy that's get transmitted from these elites and shit like that. And
Yeah,
I'm like, I want to open that bag, but it's like, how dangerous is that? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because
It's
if
also-
he's wrong,
Yeah.
waste of time. If he's right, I'll kill myself.
But even if it is wrong, like, it's not a waste of time. It's like, fuck, man, if you don't have any knowledge about, like, how much time and effort has he put into,
Oh, yeah.
like conspiring all this, even if he hasn't done it himself, like, it's just saying shit, like, fuck, man, like, you see, like, ones that are, like, pretty mainstream, like, they're all over fucking, like, Instagram and TikTok, and you're like, fuck, yeah, like, it's got a cult following, and then I always sit there and I think about, bro, how many, like, minor conspiracy theories and shit, like, they're the ones I want to find.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
just the most completely out there, fucking
Dude.
off-world, random shit.
Well, I'll line up this podcast and I'll send you it when I do it with him,
Fucking
because he
oath,
knows all of them. Bro.
Yeah, no, I'm keen as.
Like, I got mates that reckon like, and this is gonna say, I'm not saying I believe it, but I've heard this from other people that like Hitler was actually a good guy. Like, I mean, like,
Yeah, right.
there's crazy conspiracies out there, bro.
Fucking hell. It's like sometimes people go, what does everyone believe? I'm going to go the most complete fucking opposite backwards shit and I'm going to make it sound believable.
Yeah.
And then you sit there and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every couple blokes is just like, but what if? And then you're like, shit, what if? Like, do you imagine if it's real? I feel like a lot of conspiracy theories, but are like, it's like, not like bandwagon, but like people are just like, I want to say I believe in it so that if it ever gets proven right, I can fucking tell you all. Like, I was on that shit. Like, but at the same time, it's also like, fuck, bro, it's just, I love a little bit of chaos. Like, just when shit gets like thrown upside down, you're like, fuck, that's mad.
Yeah, I'm with you. Dude, I have this theory that I've been building up on, like, I don't know, it's just somehow just entered my mind. I have this fucking shared theory, you've probably heard, because Joe Rogan talks about it a lot, where you think the ideas kind of just pop into your head. You don't feel like they came from you. It's called they call it intrusive thoughts, but it's not like a negative thought. It's actually just a thought.
Yeah, okay.
So I feel like somehow I've come up with this concept of like, there'll be like a fake alien invasion. You know?
Yeah, right.
Like I've been talking about it on the podcast a little bit, but I think, I don't know why, it's just like, I have no evidence, but it's just based on movies and reading and shit, that in like a few years time there'll be like this staged fucking thing and everyone's gonna have to unite, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh no, I've actually read like some stuff about that. Like they reckon, like heaps of people reckon that they're gonna do it so that they can unite everyone under like one totalitarian
nation,
fucking government shit.
So it must be a shared opinion, you know what I mean? And it's like, why is this concept floating around? Like, I know, I love the idea of fucking, let's sidetrack a bit and this is fucking full hippie for a bit, right?
Fuck yeah. That's mad. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, sweet. So I remember one time I was hanging out with my mate Seth, shout out Seth, I know you're listening, and we were swimming in the local pool and he goes to me, do you remember the rumour when you were a kid that there was a shark in the deep end? And I'm like, bro, I grew up half an hour from here and I remember that fucking thing, you know what I mean? Like, how can that possibly be? And I thought of it like, what if it's like this fucking thought that's just floating around this pool that's like somehow connected, like through
like a
all
stigma sort of thing.
like a stigma, and like kids are able to pick up this fucking frequency or whatever it is. I'm no fucking, I don't know the terminology, but I have the ideology, right? So it's like, if that's what thoughts are, if they just are infiltrating people like bits by bits, then why is it such a common theme for everyone to be like, there is fucking aliens, you know what I mean? Why is it a common theme that like, I don't know, anything, like the moon landing being fake? I bet before there was all these like video evidence of it looking fake, people still had this ideology.
Yeah, and it's like, where did that, and especially before like social media and even like a lot of mainstream media, like back then, like fuck, they had like one news channel going at like 6 p.m. and that was it.
For the world.
That was your news for the day. Like, and it's like, fuck, man, like how do that many people get together and like all think the same thing? Like, there's gotta be like some sort of basis behind it. Otherwise, that many people, like especially with shit like the moon landing, like that's fucking massive. Like it's literally one of mankind's most defining events, and people are like, but what if? Yeah. And like a lot of people too. So it's like, I love that shit. Just makes you wonder. You're like, fuck, but what if? Like, oh man, I love that.
I love it too. I can't turn off the thoughts, to be honest. Everything I hear, I kind of question. But I hear the truth, I question it. But then luckily enough, I hear the fucking conspiracies and I question it.
Yeah.
A lot of mates of mine believe the conspiracy over the truth. And they're like, they start off lightly and then all of a sudden it's the government's poisoning the air and like, the reason why we're flooding in the Hawkesbury is because they wanted it to flood in the Hawkesbury.
Yeah, you know? Should have built the bridge higher, right?
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. Oh, I could go on about that bridge for fucking hours, bro, because we got property out that way.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, I love, like, they just finished building it and they're like, it'll withstand the biggest flood, and then it flooded. And then everyone's like, they should have built the bridge higher. It's like, mate, the land on the other side's too fucking short. They can only build the bridge to the land. I don't know, that's my little rant over. Fuck, bro, it pissed me off for months.
Yeah.
So, fuck, man.
Have you seen what it looks like when it floods out here?
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's fucking crazy. Because it's also low out here, too.
You can't predict that water.
Nah, it's fucking insane. Yeah, because we got neighbours who own... Shout out.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No,
but they got a caravan and shit, like fucking right near the river. And fuck, they just don't even... They'd never rebuilt it or never redone it or anything, because they're like, fuck, man, you never know when it's going to happen again. Like, it didn't flood like the whole time, like they bought it. They've had it for God knows how many years. But it never flooded like that bad. Like their carpet would get wet every now and then. But then after that big one, whatever it was, 2 or 3 years ago, like, they were like,
Yeah, we had the big one that we had was last year. The big one we had
last year.
Last year. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, fuck. Feels like ages ago, but at the same time.
Oh, you might be right. The most recent one was last year. It might have been the year before that. Time's gone way too quick.
Yeah, I know, bro. Lately, like even this year, man, I'm like, fuck, bro. Like, shit, it's July. Like,
I know.
fuck.
I know. And is it worse thinking, fuck, we're 6 months into the year, or is it worth thinking there's only 6 months of Christmas?
Like, bro, try not to think about it, eh?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro. Like, I feel like I was at the pub for like my 23rd, like 2 months ago, and I'm like, just organised, like having my 24th at the Peachy again.
Yeah.
Yeah, rock up the Peachy.
Yeah, sweet.
Nah.
What's the date?
Oh fuck, don't even know. I think it's the day after my birthday, Saturday, 2nd.
Yeah,
2nd
okay.
of September, Peachy.
Nice,
Let's go.
September.
Come. Rock
Nice.
up.
I'm a September boy too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go. Oh my
Yeah.
god, such a Virgo.
No, I'm a Libra.
Are
I'm
you a
not
Libra?
late September.
Oh,
Late
yeah. Righto.
Dude, do you believe in star signs actually?
No, not really. I can't.
Oh, dude.
Well, it's not that I don't
I
believe
love
in
when
it.
people say
but
no.
like,
I love when people say no.
But like, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like as well, but going back to stigma,
Yeah.
I feel like the stigma behind it is like, it's that typical like, oh my God, annoying white girl sort of thing to think of.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't know enough about it. Like I'll sit there and listen to someone, but I won't actually be listening.
All right,
like
well,
I'm not attentive.
I tell you what,
But I'll listen.
I wanna
I'll dial in
try
right now.
I want to try one. All right.
Oh, here we go.
If it takes me a little bit of time, I'm just gonna cut the dead time out. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
mad.
I'm just gonna Google star sign because I'm not convinced it's real either. But
Yeah.
on the last podcast I did with
Yeah.
my mate Greg, we were in an Airbnb up in Newcastle, and he was telling me about tarot cards and shit. He's saying, "Do you believe them?"
I want to get my tarot cards read so bad.
Bro, this was fun, right? He's like,
Yeah.
"Do you believe them?" We spent the whole podcast talking about. We are so close to wrapping up this job. Last night, we were like, "Fuck yeah!" Tell me about tarot cards. I'm like, it could be true. I'm not convinced. So I downloaded an app, picked a tarot card, and it was like, every bit of stress has been so necessary because the job is finally complete tonight. Like you, we were like, bro,
No.
it was fun. Yeah,
Fucking hell. But that's one of those things as well, like another conspiracy theory, because it's on your phone. It's like, phones listen, man.
you're right.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, but I didn't allow access to microphone. I downloaded an app and then we did it before we we talked about it. Then I downloaded an app.
Yeah,
so it's
okay.
possible what you're saying.
Yeah. No, I get you.
But it's also
I
not.
still want to go and like get my like cards like properly read. Like you go to a tarot. I don't know what they're called. But
Yeah,
to a
yeah.
tarot reader or whatever. Because I remember Fossey got his done years ago, and he got a tattoo of his fucking. Of his
I didn't
card.
even know that.
The double swordsman or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
That was his tarot card. I'm pretty sure. Might need to fact check
Fucking
that.
young
No, I'm just
Fossey.
kidding.
I fucking spoke to that cunt every day of my fucking whole life. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I don't know that because I was like, nice tattoo, and he's like, oh, bro, it's about my tarot card, and he talked about it for like an hour. I was like, yeah, cool, man.
Yeah, sweet.
Nah,
Alright,
that's pretty sick.
I found a Virgo one for today. A shit little thing. All right, let's just try. Tell me if this has anything to do with today. This can be very exciting time of social, sexual, and creative discovery. You're willing to take risks. This will likely connect you to some very lost it. This will connect you to some very different people. So far, I think it's kind of accurate because it's likely to connect you to some very different people doing the podcast.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know
I was just
mean?
thinking that. I was like, well, the sexual though? Like, damn,
Sexual,
like,
hey.
wait for them cameras to
Hey,
turn off. Like,
OnlyFans, huh? Started fucking early. You're tired of people's manipulative ploys. You also detect an element of deceit in a relationship. It doesn't have to be boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Could be any relationship. Having said that, now is not the time to act. There's always someone worse off than you. So feel grateful for who and where you are. Once in time for relaxation and appreciation of the simple things in life. So it's like, it is accurate, right?
No, I mean, I'll tell you right now, it's fucking pretty accurate. Like the deceit in a relationship bit. I know he won't watch this, so, but
Yeah.
just.
Yeah. Well, the way I see it is, it's like, are we looking for the information to feed into it? You know what I mean? Like, are we hearing it and then finding bits of our life that could relate to it and then making it so they're... Because I think that's what humans do. We kind of look for things and make sense of them based on what we already know.
Yeah.
But does that make it any less real? Like, what's the point of it if that's not what actually is there to do? Does that make sense?
No.
Like, I don't know, like, what else could a star sign reading mean? If you read a bunch of shit and you relate to it, then it's like, who cares how it makes sense?
Yeah,
it
yeah,
still
that's
makes
true.
sense.
That's true.
Yeah.
Fuck, now I'm thinking about it. He might watch it actually.
Well, I'll beep it out.
Yeah. Thank fuck.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's just like the Family Guy, like a sensor, like it's for like 35 seconds, just beep 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 beep.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, man.
Nah, I usually just delete old sections. So
Yeah,
no
no, that's
stress on it. Yeah, sweet. That's the
fuck.
beauty of not doing it live, bro.
Oh, thank fuck. I was thinking about it on the way here, and I was like, no, it's not live, surely.
Yeah. One day it will.
Yeah,
But-
no, that's mad.
But I hope to be at a stage one day in the future where everyone that comes on is like reoccurring.
Yeah.
And it's like practice for everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's cool. Yeah. No, that'd be sick, actually.
Yeah.
I had a fair fucking drive on the way here, and I was just thinking about it the whole way. I was like, man, like, what a gig.
Yeah.
Like, this is so good.
Yeah.
Like,
I love it, bro.
yeah, that's what I mean, man. I was thinking about it as well. Like, you've got to fucking pick something that you enjoy. Like, it's a no-brainer, but like in the last few months, that's like something that's come up to me massively. Like, fucking, if you find shit that you enjoy doing, fucking just do it, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you're like, oh man, I don't know if it'll fit in with my life, like, what's it not going to fit in with? The shit that you don't like doing? Just don't do it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
fuck, man. Like, I don't know. It's so weird. Like, this last, like, maybe, like, 12 months, I've just, like, found this whole new lease on fucking,
yeah?
like, just, like, my whole perspective of just shit's changed. And most of
Nice.
it's, like, all the, like, superstitious shit you heard as a kid where, like, you'd hear people, like, be like, man, you just got to, like, manifest positivity. And I'm like, fucking what a crock of shit. Now I'm like, fuck, bro, it's really that simple, eh?
I like the way this
It's
conversation
really,
is
I'm
going,
like, bro,
bro.
it's really that simple.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I remember I was sitting down one day. It was like just after COVID, and I like, fuck, COVID was a shit time. And I
Yeah,
was like,
of course,
bro. I did nothing but just fucking drink and just fuck around with the boys on Discord. And I
Yeah.
put on heaps of weight. I was pretty big, and I was like, man, fuck, what can I do to just try and like change a little bit now? Not change, but like, what can I do to adjust my life so I don't feel so shit?
Yeah.
And I was like, just looking, like, just literally just Googling, like, fucking cool shit to do to be happy. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
or like, and then I was like, I read a bit and I was like, oh, like mindfulness and like meditation. And I was like, it sounds a bit shit. And then I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, fuck, it's really not that hard, eh? Like, meditation, fucking puts me to sleep. But like,
Yeah.
I turn it off at like 10 minutes. But like, I'll sit in like I'll go for a run or something. I'll come home, I'll sit in an ice bath and chuck it on.
Yeah, dope.
And I'm like, I just feel so relaxed, feel so peaceful.
Oh, bro.
And then it just sets the whole whatever else I'm doing for the rest of the day. And I fucking love it. I'm like, life is actually that easy.
I don't. It's like I had this conversation with my mate yesterday, Pat. Shout out to you, Pat. I know you listen to this one too. But we were saying like he just started going back to the gym again, and I was like, and he's telling me how much better he's feeling like all the time. I'm like, dude, that's why I've been trying to fucking exercise as much as I can because it's a cheat code to life. Like, how does people not know? And it's like all these other things that you're mentioning, like meditation and manifestation. These are full cheat codes. Like, and people like don't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. I do it as much as I can. If I have an idea, I'll write it down and I'll tell someone about it. Because
100%.
Because I think the science behind it, which is probably something that's a new technology compared to when the ideology started, because people have been, I see it like, all right, so scientifically, I see it as if like if you write it down or say something to someone else, then it's out in the universe spiritually, but in the back of your mind, you're subconsciously working towards that goal, and you don't even realize. So if you have a goal to buy a house, then you tell someone about it, and then all of a sudden you get a job, you start saving, and you might not even be thinking about buying the house every day, but you've manifested the idea.
And you're subconsciously like putting a bit of money away, and fuck, before you know it, you're like, shit, I can buy a house. I believe that so hard. Like,
And
I don't know.
You might just be thinking to yourself, like, I want to be open to try new ideas. That might just be something that you just put out into the universe. And then you hear someone talking, and then that part of your brain that is processing that you have no control over hears someone mention, oh, dude, it's the fastest go-kart track I've ever driven on. And then you're like, you know, like, why did, like, what is this place? You know what I mean? Like,
that's mad.
or it might be like, I just shot a bow and arrow for the first time. It could be I went and fucking skydive. It could be anything, bro. And it's like, you really are manifesting what you want. And my nan's told me about this since I was a kid. And it was always, my nan's a full hippie. Full hippie. So she's always
I feel like everyone's got one nan like that, eh?
I love her. I can't wait to have her on a podcast one day.
That's mad.
And she's always like, as a kid, she's like, be careful what you manifest because you might not be manifesting the right thing. So I don't think she was right. This was just her opinion at the time. And it was like, my friend always wanted to be more open-hearted, and then all of a sudden she had open heart surgery. Or a coworker's like, I need a break, and then they broke their leg.
I feel like that's a bit of a literal rendition of it, but
but in reality, the person that needed a break, they could have manifested a broken limb because they wouldn't have gone to work in the time when they did it. So I think it's important if you are to manifest, it's to be precise about what you really want in life and just focus on that. And then everything else, because I do believe life will give you whatever you want. I really do believe it. It just won't give you what you want when you want it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. Fuck.
Yeah.
I love that. That's bad.
And I see everyone is trying to explain this story, whether it's manifestation, whether it's fucking just praying in general. The Bible says, ask and you shall receive. Like, as if that's any different to fucking the universe giving you what you want or manifesting shit. It's all the same. So I really do see it. Like, I love manifestation. It's one of the biggest hidden secrets in life, I think. 100%.
I feel like there's like you said before, there's like a science to it. Like, it's not like you can just sit there and go, I want a Ferrari, and in fucking 10 years you're going to get a Ferrari. Like, you still got to work for it, but it's like, the harder you work, the more subconscious work I feel like you're doing in addition. So, like, I don't know, it's like a shadow almost. Like, you can be working for it and thinking, fuck, like, I'm working so hard, I'm not actually getting there. But if you ease off, you'll be like, you know, like that realization of like, holy fuck, like I was actually doing heaps better than I thought I was. Yeah. And I feel like negative emotions creep in all the time, especially with shit like that. Yeah. And I feel like it's a problem of the day and age with like, you got to think about it, like modern society, like fucking, you go to fast food, you want food, you get food like straight away. I feel like people just, they're like, they expect shit and success like way too quick. And they tire out, they phase out. I feel like taking a roundabout approach will always get you to the fucking same spot, and it's like going back a couple of years, but it's like the tortoise and the hare or whatever it is. It's like, fuck, man, it doesn't matter.
I remember that book.
Like, bro, like, it doesn't matter how fast you go, man. You still end up at the same spot. And you go quick, man. Fuck, you tire out. Need to have a nap before the finish line. Right?
That's dope, bro. What a little throwback he gave you there.
Oh, I love that.
But you're so right, because people are so instantaneous, and like everything is leading towards it so much quicker. Everyone wants faster internet like than ever before. Like, and I'm culprit. Like, I'm like, this is fucking joke, and it's been 1 second.
Yeah, I know. I know. You click on something, you're like, fucking low.
I click on something, it doesn't work. I got this. Fucking stupid phone, come on.
You start holding it up, like, maybe I'll get better reception.
And I know this isn't going to do anything, but it's just a point of like, what the fuck isn't this working? But then I remember clicking on a YouTube video as a kid on the dining room fucking computer and waiting 30 minutes to hear like Whatever You Like by T.I. Alvin and the Chipmunks version.
You go and like make a sandwich or some shit, come back and you'll be like, oh, I reckon it's almost there.
Done. Hopefully it catches up. You know?
And you're like, it doesn't load. You're like, I'll pause it. I'll come back in an hour and hopefully half the video is buffered. It's so crazy.
People just want everything now. It's taking away from my thought process before, from like, you never get what you want when you want it, but you'll get it. So and it reminds me of another quote. You'll probably like this one. It's always gonna be an uphill battle, and you're always gonna want to make it move. There's always gonna be another mountain. Sometimes you're just gonna have to lose. It's not about how fast you get there. It ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. It's the climb.
Classic.
And it really is.
Shout out Miley Cyrus.
It really is.
Yeah. No, fuck. I was actually thinking about like, that's not the climb. I wasn't thinking about Miley Cyrus.
I listened to it this morning.
No, but I was thinking about music on the way here, because I was obviously blasting music. Yeah. I love music, and I love when like a song has like a deeper meaning. I fucking love it. Like I could listen to a song, and it's not something that I'm privy to like understanding all the time, but like I could listen to a song for fucking years and not take any notice. Yeah. Or even like a whole band. So like, it's a band I fucking love. I'm seeing them later this month. So excited. Beartooth.
Okay.
All their albums, I froth. All their songs, I'm like, yeah, they're a bit like dark, and you know, like explore some sort of like darker like feelings and shit like that. But I'm like, it's a bit like it's fucking like it's hard. Yeah. Not hard, but it's hard.
It's got to exist.
So I'm like, okay, like whatever. It's just a factor of it. And then they released a new song a while ago now. And I'm like, I listened to it for the first time, and I was like, oh, this is pretty pretty preppy, like it's pretty like up tempo compared to what they usually write. And then there's this guy I watch on YouTube called Ohrion Reacts. He reacts to all like metal and like deathcore and all this shit. And
I'll
I
put a
love
link in the description of this guy's channel. Orion Reacts. So
Orion Reacts.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's fucking sick. I love him. For all my
Yeah.
metal enthusiasts out there. Gee.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love watching people's reactions to shit, especially shit
I
that
love
I
them
enjoy.
too. I love
Bro, I
them
could
too.
sit on YouTube and go down a rabbit hole
yeah,
for fucking
yeah.
hours.
I do it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
But before he played his reaction to the song, he played like an interview with the lead singer, and the lead singer talks about how all his past work and all his past albums he wrote while he was like a severe alcoholic. He was in, you know, like this dark fucking real depressing place. And this new song is like, it's like, you know, like he's out of all that shit and he's fucking sort of breaking free, whatever.
Yeah, nice.
And then you listen to it again, you listen to the lyrics and you're like, holy fucking shit. Like, it's been like I've been listening to that song for like 6 months. And I'm like, it's going straight under my nose.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking. I just love like the power and shit like that.
Oh,
like it's
yeah.
so fascinating.
It's an art, bro. It's a full art, and it's
100%.
like every now and then you get a taste of what the art really is, and you're like, whoa, like that's actually insane. And then, but I don't know, how crazy is that? To be honest with you, the fact that you could listen to music and enjoy it, people are able to give you something that you could always enjoy, and then every now and then it touches you, like it literally hits your soul.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like
fucking crazy.
I like spiritual wise, I was always an atheist person, and then I grew up, turned into a Christian at the age of like 13, 14, got out of that at about 18, and now I've just been now I've just been like open-minded, I guess you could say, easiest way to describe it. But the music that I was listening to when I went to church was actually Hillsong Church, which it has a lot of fucking notations, but I really do think it's a great place.
Yeah.
The music was like soul touching, and I'll still pump it today. And they're great songs, but then you hear them and you're really listening into it, and you're like, yeah, this is a reference to God, but you could use it to reference like anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I love shit like that. Like I don't know, like I just think it's such a thing that people take for granted. Like, oh my god, this person has released an album in like 5 years. They're my favorite person. What the fuck are they doing? It's like, well, they're not really a favorite, man. You'd be patient. You'd wait, because like you don't remember as well. A lot of them, like, yeah, they write for fame and popularity and money, whatever. Like they can write for any number of superficial reasons. But like I feel like most of them, when they write, like they write for a reason. Like it's like poetry, man. Fucking everyone needs to express themselves in any fucking way possible. And that's like what I love. Like I feel like everyone has this fucking, I'm so proud of all the boys that have like creative stuff, like you with the podcast. Like you've got Bryce with his digital media and his videography and his drawing. You've got like Matt, he's got his band. You know, he's got his drawings that he's done fucking forever. You've got Ryan's just Ryan. Ryan is the art.
What do you say about him? Ryan is a piece. He was a piece of canvas that was just never stopped being painted on.
No, bro, they just picked up the paint and just splattered it on that kid.
And they're still doing it.
Yeah,
like
100%.
it's constantly been updated.
Oh man. But no, like I feel like it's it sounds like it's so weird, like all the shit that growing up, I'm like, especially like growing up with parents who were born and raised in the 70s, and you know what I mean, they're like, man, all this hippie shit, it's fucking gonna whatever. But like it's like now that you look back on it, it's like, fuck, it's actually like such an essence of life sort of thing. It is, but it's like, man, like if you just go to work, like you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh cool, have a coffee, go to work, come home, you know what I mean? Like you have dinner, sit down with your family, you spend quality time together, granted, whatever, and that's it. That's your fucking week. You get to your weekend and you're like, oh, gotta mow the lawns. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a fucking
cars need a wash. Lawns need a mow.
And like there's nothing wrong with living life, but like that. But it's also at the same time, it's like how monotonous, like how just fucking batshit boring. Like, you know what I mean? Like you need something, even if it's just a hobby, bro. Like I feel like everything hobby wise truly is an art form.
Oh, 100% dude. And I see it as if like, and I'm meeting more and more people lately that are interested in creating anything. So it could be like TikTok videos, could be more focused on YouTube, could be more focused on rap, making rap songs, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, I see it as if like everyone is a consumer, including me. So I figured part of the reason why I started was I want to do my part of being a provider, not just a consumer. because without the providers, I wouldn't have anything.
Exactly right.
So, and I think, and I can say this with confidence because I've heard good feedback before, I think that it is now becoming something that people are consuming the same way I was consuming other series. You know
exactly
what I mean?
right. Yeah.
And it's a good feeling, bro. Like, not the fame side of it, even though there's only a fucking couple boys listening. Like, I'm not saying that, but it's not like, oh, I feel so good because look at me. It's more like, you feel so good. Like, I want to be able to provide a bit of entertainment. You know what I mean? It's like hosting dinner.
Yeah.
Like, I love hosting dinner. It's fucking great
good.
feeling.
Yeah, it's just like, I love that as well. You get all the boys around, throw some steaks on, have a couple of beers. Yeah, I love that shit. Like, oh, boys come around, watch the footy. Like, I don't know. It's like a pride thing almost. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I feel sometimes like with shit like that, I feel a little bit selfish because I'm like, I'm trying to surround myself with shit that I like so often. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck. If I don't do that, bro, I'm fucking miserable. Oh,
dude, that's the opposite of negative feelings. You should live your life trying to attain everything you ever want. I don't think you should live your life any other way.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
As long as what you want obviously isn't bring harm towards others.
Yeah.
But sometimes you might need to sacrifice a couple of people along the way. You know what I mean?
Step on some toes. Yeah. No, that's like, I don't know, that sort of relates, but like my dad always said something growing up. Like, so before I went to uni, I worked with my old man for like 5 years. And
is that plumbing or carpentry?
No, shop fitting. Shop fitting.
Yeah,
so doing heaps of gyp rock and shit. Honestly, there was a period there where we were doing fucking everything. Like, just doing whatever we could get our hands on. I've never really
heard you mention doing plumbing and carpentry work.
Oh, we've done like a little bit of like up at the farm and shit, like just putting in plumbing, like putting in new sinks, like when we bring in a new building or something like that and turn it into a bathroom or whatever. Yeah. So like it's been invaluable. Like I've learned how to do. Like I'm not
invaluable. I've never heard that word. That is such a good word.
Yeah, it's honestly, I use it all the time.
Invaluable must mean like you can't buy it. Like
you can't put a price on it.
Wow.
Like it's just such an important thing for me. Like I've just learnt so much. But so when I was working with him, like obviously I love my festivals, I love my concerts, shit like that. And there was a period of time where like I went to some festival or whatever, and I got a bit too rat shit, and I couldn't come into work on the Monday. Yeah, I know you do. And you know, my dad he got a little bit shitty, like as he would. And I felt like I let him down heaps. And then it was only like 2 months later, I was like, look, I feel like it's going to be very similar circumstances. So I wanted to take the Monday off, but I was like, I didn't know how to approach him, and I was so fucking nervous about like asking him about it. And I asked him, and he's like, "Yeah, of course." I was like, "Fuck, man!" Like I was so anxious for telling you, and he's like, "Why?" And I told him. He's like, "Fuck, man." He goes, "Fuck that." He's like, "I don't." Oh, what is it? He's like, "I don't live to work. I work to live." And I was like, "Fuck, man." That's just stuck with me so hard.
I do Mad Jam. I love that.
I love it so much because I'm like, man. If you just if you wake up, it goes back to what I was saying before, you just wake up, you know, you go through the motions, go to work, come home, do that day in, day out. Like, you're not living.
Yeah.
You're not living. You're alive, but you're not living.
Yeah. Well, I think of it like, it's like the whole NPC argument where, you know, some people are just like, you can't be the main character in this story. You know what I mean? Like, you're just a fucking dude that's just there.
You're just a dude.
Even in your own world, you ain't the main guy, bro.
They're my favourite type of people when they try and give off main character energy. Yeah. And you're like, oh, bro, stop, please.
No, I can't lie. I'm a massive advocate of it. Like, I think I'm the main guy so much that I'm just someone else's side character be like, look at this dickhead. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's true.
Yeah.
But I see it like, if you're not living life by doing things you enjoy, and I think it really has to do with discipline. Discipline's like one of the most important things in my life, because even with the boys like painting, video editing, like Bryce and Matt, and making music, all that kind of stuff, to be honest, it's not even that enjoyable. Like, it really is when you get to a stage, but for the most part, it's like you have to suffer. You have to devote the time to it. You have to be like, fuck, 1 more hour, 1 more minute, 1 more day, whatever it is. So I feel like if you don't do that, you're not really, or even when it comes to like, you don't live to work, you don't live to work, you work to live. I feel like it's like you're not even living, you're actually just existing. So I think the saying, and I've heard it a million times, I think the saying should be, I don't exist to work, I work to live, because I feel like there's a big opposite between existing and living. And I've felt that, bro. I've been that person. I've been fucking lost half a dozen times to a dozen times in my life where I'm just not doing anything for myself.
Yeah.
Usually comes when you get into a certain stage of a relationship. I've definitely noticed that.
Oh yeah.
So I've been staying away from fucking Bunda for a while, to be honest. Yeah. I'll get back into it, but I'm just staying away
Just
from
work, just
chasing
easy
tail.
way back here, bro.
Yeah. I can't help myself too. I'm also a lover. So it's like, as soon as I just find that one little bit of interest, I can't help myself sometimes with diving in.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I was definitely, I wouldn't say I was definitely the same, but like, I get really invested. Like,
Yeah.
So even like with my missus now, like we met just randomly on a night out through friends of friends, whatever. Ended up going back to the same mate's place for kick-ons, and then like it went on from there. But like as soon as like I met her that night, because it was at an emo night in Penrith.
Yeah.
So and I was like, fuck, bro. Music's a massive thing for me, and she loves the same guy, and I was like,
Yeah.
instant interest.
Yeah.
But I was like, I won't dive into it, but instantly, like, that's a flag. Like, I've picked that one up. Like,
yeah, nice.
and then I was
Oh,
just went from there. But I love shit like
I
that,
love it
man.
too.
Like,
I love love, to be honest with you, bro. I really do. That's why I'm taking a big break from it, because you're obviously still in a relationship now.
Yeah.
It's awesome that you have the ability to foresee what you've been foreseeing lately and be in a relationship. Like, I want to be able to fucking create the world I want to be in for the rest of my life. I don't have that part. When I'm in a relationship, I'm too invested in one.
yeah.
I can't get out of that.
See, I feel like I definitely have been like that in the past, especially in my last relationship. Like, I was just sort of like, okay, fuck what makes me... Not fuck what makes me happy, but I'm like, I'm working my life around this person, which I feel like is important. You need to work some aspects of your life around that person. But at the end of the day, like I said to my current missus now, like when we first got together, I was like, look, there's a few key things in my life that are constant.
Yeah.
Like they are fucking absolute, like will not change. One of them is the boys, because when I was in my previous relationship, fuck man, I would like go MIA for months on end. Like I would see like other mates, but I wouldn't. But they were mates that we had together.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get many chances to see my boys. So I feel like that's a fucking huge thing, and I've never been closer with them since the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Sport and then uni, because
Yeah.
uni's, I'm so fucking interested in it. It's literally
I trust me, I want to get into your uni.
No, that's
I'm
alright.
going to. I'm not going to miss
all right,
it.
that's all right, that's all right.
Although I'm very interested in what you're doing too.
that's all right.
So everyone who's listening, just stay tuned, all right? Stay tuned.
I'm sure everyone's so interested.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking dope, bro. I think that, like, well, it sounds like I'm not speaking for you, but in the past relationships, which is what I feel, is like, what you really want, you feel like, is to make the other person happy. And so you're still doing what you want, but I don't think that's the right way to live your life, because you need to learn that in order to make someone else happy, you need to be as happy as you can do.
Yeah, exactly right.
So don't depend on someone else's happiness to be your happiness, because they're depending their happiness on you, depending their happiness on them.
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean?
It's just a fucking cycle.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's 100% correct. It's like one of those things where, like, I don't know, like you're trying to stay happy, but you're trying to keep them happy. And it's like everything you do, you've got an eye on how that makes them feel, which is like very normal. But at the same time, it's also like you've got to be prepared every now and then to not hurt them, but like just be like, hey, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I need this for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I'm just so lucky with the one I got now. Like she's like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
She's like, yeah, like I'll be like, oh, let's give me an example. She's gonna fucking hate me for this.
Or you can make one up. It's up to
No.
you.
Like, it's all right. No,
Yeah,
but she'll be like, oh, like, can you come over tonight? And I'll be like, look, I'd love to, but you know, like, I want to have a night just playing computer with the boys, chatting shit. Like it'll be like Friday night or something. I'll be like, we'll have a couple of drinks, watch a footy or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just really want this night, you know, just for. Not even for my own health, like just for me.
Yeah,
and she'll be
it's
like,
what you
okay,
want, yeah.
like look, like I'll be a bit upset, like I wanted to see it, but at the same time, fuck, I'll just see it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
It's
so cool.
it's just compromise. Compromise is such a big thing.
Yeah, that's
that,
so awesome, bro. And I hear a lot of the boys talk about that thing, and I've never actually had that thing. Like, I remember, and I'm not gonna, I know who listens to the podcast, so I'm gonna say this in the sense where it's like, it's not just one relationship I've been in, it's been in multiple, where, and the most easiest theme for this could be like going to the pub. And I used to be a barfly. I loved the pub. I loved it unconditionally. So you'd like Thursday is my day, whether it's it turns from once a week to once a month to once every 3. So it's like, right, let's just do once every 2, once every 3. And even then, I feel like I should have been able to put my foot down more and be like, this is what I want. So I should be able to do it.
Yeah.
So you go, and then there'd be a curfew. I said I'd be home by this time, but then it slowly turns into resentment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, fuck that bitch. Like, I'm just going to fucking stay out as long as I want. And you're already half pissed. You've got a bag. You're fucking you lost on the pokies. And then all of a sudden you're coming home to punch. No, jokes. But yeah, but I am being serious when it comes to resentment, because you don't have, it's like, I'm putting you first. Why can't you put me first?
Yeah.
So the compromise thing is something that I'm looking forward to in a future relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming any previous girlfriend I've had. I'm going to take responsibility and just say I didn't learn how to put my foot down early enough. It was too concerned. Oh, fuck, I hope you're all good. Fuck, I hope you think I'm all good. So that's what I'm going to try and do anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, that was because obviously in my past, I was like, man, I fucking didn't know how to put my foot down at all. And then it comes to a point where it's like a fucking gauge, man. It gets to a certain point, you've got to put your foot down. But if you don't put your foot down in little bits, it just comes crashing down so fucking hard all in one go. And you snap, you might raise your voice a bit, or you say something fucking stupid.
Oh, I've said some.
Yeah,
I've said some things I'm not proud of in the last.
We all have. Like, it's part of being human.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like that's one of those things that you do it enough times and you eventually learn.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like I was thinking about this sort of theme on the way here too. Like, every single thing that's ever happened to you in your life, every decision you've ever made, good or bad, every consequence you've ever, or of any action that you've ever faced, all good or bad, has put you where you are right now. Yeah. And when you put things in that perspective, especially like I tell this to myself when I'm having a shit day or a shit week, whatever, you put yourself in that perspective and you're like, fuck, I could be in such a worse spot right now. There's always someone out there who's having a fucking worse day than you. Just think yourself a little bit lucky.
Yeah.
Like,
and you know what I think? When I think like that, sucked in, cunt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I think to myself, like, I've had a worse day. Yeah. And it's made me stronger. So sucked in, cunt. Like, you'll be alright. Like, you'll get through it.
Bit of concrete, mate.
You'll get through it.
Yeah.
But I do think like that too. It's funny how you kind of shape your whole life. And this is another thing I think to myself about, like, I'm starting, as I get older and older, to think of myself less and less as an individual, because I more think of myself as a result of everyone else I've ever met. So it's not, I could use this for other people too, but I want to just let everyone else think of themselves however they want. I'm not going to put my own ideology on them, but I'm just my mum, my dad, my brother, my sister, my friends, my enemies, my past girlfriends, everyone. And that means that, like, so that's what I am. So you are technically that too. So it's like,
gotta mention.
I think that's dope, bro. I think that's awesome. And your own consequences, I guess, maybe that's how I should change my mindset about it, because I'm not just that. I'm also the decisions I've made along the way. But but that's just for the internal, as an expression and the way everyone else sees me. I see myself as everyone else. I don't know. It's a weird, it's hard to grasp, but I'm working on it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I get it. Yeah. It's so crazy when you hear people like talk about, like, I don't know, like, it's like when you talk about something and you're like, fuck, I hope this makes sense. And honestly, anyone who's even half listening, they're like, fuck, like, I get what you're fucking saying. It's so weird how, like, people just pick up on shit that you're putting down and you're like, yeah man, like, I get that. Yeah. And it's like, do you? And you're like, more or less.
Maybe differently.
More or less, yeah.
It's kind of the same thing we're talking about with music, where it's like the way that the way you took it in, like, wow, someone else might have said wow, but they might have taken it in differently. Yeah. So maybe even though I'm expressing it how I'm feeling, someone else could be like, fuck, that makes so much sense. But it could have nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's a beautiful life, man. Fuck, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it too, bro. I'm so glad we somehow started this off with such an open-minded conversation. Like,
honestly, fucking, I would be lying to you right now if I didn't say that when I'm like, sometimes I just drive through and I'll listen to a random podcast. Yeah. I will always turn that podcast off like halfway through, and I will fucking imagine asking, like, people asking me questions and how I would answer them in a podcast style. Yeah. Just growing up, Mum always said I had a face for radio. So face
for radio. That's jokes.
No, but like, I don't know, it's just one of those things like, oh fuck, I do it all the time. I'm just like, not even just more just to be like sort of see like what it's like.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't know. That's why thank you so much for
Yeah,
having
of
me
course,
here.
bro,
Like,
it was my
I don't know.
pleasure.
Like when you messaged me, I remember I was on Discord with the boys. I was like, boys, Doxy wants me to be on his podcast. And then fucking Nick was like, yeah, you asked me. I said no. I was like, yeah, classic idiot.
I've been thinking of it for ages. Trust me, I have. It's hard to work out a mental structure for like who I want to get on, when I want to get them on. It's very, very odd, but like I knew I wanted to do this from the get go.
Yeah, no, that's mad.
But to be honest, I wasn't sure that you'd be wanting to do it. I thought I might have had to convince you.
No, I honestly, I love shit like this. Like, I live for random shit like this. Like, I don't know, like, it's just something different.
Yeah, it's new,
Something
it's
different,
exciting.
yeah.
It's like,
Because, like,
we're
I
just
was
talking shit, bro.
Yeah, because, like, even when I messaged you today, I was like, oh, man, like, because, like, I worked yesterday, like, just an off day, and I was like, oh, what did I do Tuesday? I spent, like, half the day hanging out. Like, I was studying while I was there, but, like, not like I could be at home. So I was like, this week, like, in terms of, like, effort that I've put into uni, I'm at like 40, 50. And I was like, I need to bring that up a bit. Like, so I was like, you know, like it's fucking, I just got a bunch of shit dumped on me today. Like, you know, like shit that I hadn't thought of and like this and that. And then I started driving and I was like, fuck man. I was like, I've got the weekend.
Yeah.
I've got the weekend. Like, I'm not doing anything tomorrow night. My missus is going out. I'm like, instead of sitting at home doing fucking nothing, I'll spend that time being productive.
Yeah,
I'm like, because I was like, at the end of the day, I don't want to look back. I get FOMO. No, not FOMO, but like, I hate regretting shit.
Yeah.
I hate it with a passion. So I'm like, I don't want to look back on this one day when you've blown up. No, I'm just, I don't want to look back on this one day and be like, fuck, that would have been a really cool experience that I might never get another chance to do. You know what I mean? Like, I was
I
like,
appreciate the fact that you were wanting to come do it and it convinced you to stop doing what you already planned on doing. I appreciate that a lot, bro. And it really is an amazing feeling when someone does want to come do it, you know? I feel like in the beginning, especially, it was very new to me. I was so on edge about the whole thing. I used to write down so much shit before every episode. I'm like, fuck. I'd get on. I'm like, fuck, how do I say this? Yeah. And like my guests got that vibe. It was just the closest boys. And I knew they were like, I want to just come do it just to hang out. Because not to hang out, sorry, to help out.
To help you like kick it off.
To help out. And I'm so grateful for all those episodes. And I'm going to be doing them all again for all the boys listening who got the shit times. Like, trust me. But I feel like the energy I'm trying to put out now is like, this is fucking fun. I love doing it. Yeah, does anyone else want to have fun with me? You know?
100%. That's what I mean. Like, that's like when I messaged you, I was like, fuck, fuck, what do you want to talk about? And you're like, bro, I just got the gift of the gab. Like, fuck, bro, we're just coming to chat shit. I'm like, you know what? I can do that. Fuck, bro, I can talk the back legs of a donkey, bro, honestly. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I just like, fuck, man, I have way too much time, like, alone with my thoughts. And I'm like, I got to let them out every now and then. And my poor missus, bro. I was just like, we'll be driving and I'll be like, fuck, imagine if NASA was like a secret front. Or like that's not an actual example, but like, I'll just say something random and she looks at me and she's like, what the fuck is going on in your head?
Yeah. You're like, imagine if the cars behind me didn't even exist until I looked at them. You know what I mean?
Bro, I think of shit like that all the time. Like, it's like when something like pops up in your field of vision, it's like, has that been there that whole time? Did it just appear because I thought something was there? Oh, bro.
Yeah, dude, I used to do a fucking lot of drugs when I was younger, a fucking lot of them, especially psychedelics. And like, I feel like I kind of broke holes in my brain to like open it up. Because what would happen was when I'd take a lot of different psychedelics is like, I'd have an idea and then I couldn't shake that from becoming what I believed. Like, I'd think it, and then I'm like,
sort of like,
oh no, this is now what's real. And it'd be like all these random thoughts, like, what if time just stood still for like, who knows how long and no one even noticed? You know what I mean? Like, and then just time just kept going.
You're like, shit, it's 6:15. Fucking an hour later, you're like, fuck, it's still 6:15. That's weird. Must have read it wrong before. And you fucking never know. You talk yourself out of it so quick.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I've had that a million times, 100%. But imagine if, like, in the middle of this conversation, time literally stopped for a million years. And no one had the ability to predict, like, know what happened. You know what I mean? Like, I just think about that shit all the time. And,
it's crazy. I love it. I love it.
So it's good to get that shit out, as you're saying to your missus. But that's why me and Fossey talk on the phone every day. Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, I've had this, let me tell you. And he's like, bro, fuck, same. Like, he just tell me something weird too.
Like, he comes up with some underhanded shit all the time. It's just like, man, like lately, man, he's just randomly sent me a picture of like all his camo, all his camo gear.
That video.
Bro, and I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
I loved that, dude. I love that
I like,
motherfucker,
bro.
bro.
You are the definition of all the gear and no idea. Like, nah, he's a good bloke, but fuck, man.
Fuck,
He just comes up with shit like that all the
Yeah.
time. And I'm like, fuck, bro.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going on, like, inside your head.
We had a conversation on Friday, right? And and how like, yeah, bro, no more fucking gambling, no more this, no more that. And he's like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna put my foot down and be like, from today, I'm not gonna allow myself to have any gambling, because as soon as I open that door to being okay, I'll have a fallout every now and then. I'm like, good mindset, bro. Let's just keep this at it. We spoke on fucking Monday, and like, I walked out of the pokey room and I looked at my Snapchat and there's fucking Fossey in the pokey room, and I thought, pathetic. You know what I mean? I'm walking out. I was just playing.
Yeah.
And then we spoke about it on Monday, and yeah, dumb cunts. And he's like,
Yeah.
I decided, if I can just moderate it. I'm like, you just fucking told me
Making excuses.
the last conversation we had.
It's because that was all the boys' fault. That was all the boys' fault.
Yeah.
We left him at the pub by himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else is he gonna do? Oh no, he's there with his missus, but there.
Yeah.
Because he went for the UFC. He's like, oh, all the boys should come. Most of them were like, yeah. And then everyone had a massive night Saturday night and woke up and were like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for him.
Yeah.
I was like,
I can't blame any of the boys for my mishaps, bro. I don't have a bank card on purpose, so I can't gamble.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
And
The
then
amount of times I've gone out and the boys are like, I didn't bring my card. After 4 or 5 beers, like, hey man, can you put me cash in? I'll transfer you.
Yeah. Bro, I don't even drink. I'm just so addicted to pokies. I can't even help it. I'm like, everyone's gambling. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing it. Before everyone picks a machine, who has a card?
Yeah.
Like, oh, me. And then someone's like, oh, no, everyone's doing $50 each. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, why don't I just give him my 50 and then you can fucking transfer me? And it's like, everyone just tells this one cunt,
You
he
find
needs a card.
you find the most
$50, bro.
you find
Doxy
the
needs
most
a
like
card.
backdoor way to get into it. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, man. It's
Luckily,
so
I
funny.
did all right. But to be honest, when I win lately on the pokies, I feel just as bad as I do when I lose, because I knew I shouldn't have played. Like, I really have a love-hate relationship for the pokies, where I love them, and that's why I hate them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
So what, I got a love-hate relationship with Hamaso Tabuai Fido after last night. I went to put $10 on the doggies game on the weekend, and I forgot to just add it to my bet slip.
Yeah.
And I checked it at halftime, and I was like, fuck. And then last night, 2 minutes before kickoff, I was like, fuck, I still got $10 on my sports bet. I'll just put it on.
Yeah.
And I had it. I had New South Wales to win. I had Adokar to score a try, and I had Tabuai Fido to score 2 tries.
Yeah.
And he fucking dropped the second one. It was like $700. I was like, I'm so broke at the moment. That would have been mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Bro, I didn't even bother watching the Origin. There's no point. Like, fuck. I'm going to be pissed off if they win because they didn't win, or I'm going to get pissed off because they lose because they didn't win. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. But yeah, I got
man.
into the footy pretty good this year. I can't say
Yeah.
I've watched as many games as I want to, but this is my first year ever watching it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
First year.
Yeah, no, it was so weird. It used to be such a thing that I was like, I don't know, it just fucking bored me to tears as a kid. Like,
Yeah.
and my dad was like right into it, and he's like, come sit down and watch the footy. I was like, yeah, man. I watched like the first like 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm going.
Yeah, PlayStation 2, dude.
And then like the last, and then like, the last like 3 or 4 years, I've been like back into it like hard. Like during COVID, because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Fuck, me and the boys, man. Thursday to Sunday. Like, we'd just be on Discord, watching the footy, absolutely shit-faced.
Yeah.
And, like, I go to talk to Dad about it, and Dad got real, like, off it for some fucking... Like, he's just like, I'm fucking over footy, blah, blah, blah. Probably because we're Bulldogs fans and we're playing that shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah. But, yeah, it's just one of those things, eh? It's like... Such a love-hate relationship for that sport.
Yeah, I think sport interests me in general, not because I actually find sport interesting. I don't enjoy watching much of it. I enjoy the UFC when there's a fighter I like.
Yeah.
But the fact that, especially men are so entertained by competition, like, it's unbelievable, bro. I got mates at work and they will watch darts. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
tell you what, bro, I've gotten bored and watched some darts. It fucking goes off, all right?
yeah, but it doesn't.
No, it doesn't really. But you watch it and I'm like, fuck, I couldn't do that. So,
Yeah.
good on you. Like,
Yeah, true. Well, playing darts, you start to get a gist of how awesome these blokes really are. But just the fact that men want to watch people compete is such an interesting thing. Like, golf is the funnest game. I love
I
golf.
fucking love golf.
Yeah, it's dope. But watching golf is actually boring as fuck. But
Fucking
because there's people competing, even if it's just against themselves, it's like, fuck, that's awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It's like, you're like, yeah, this is fucking sick.
It's motivating.
Oh man, it's so crazy. I think about that all the time with any sport. Like I'm like especially fighting. I'm like, yeah, let's just put two dudes in a fucking box and watch them beat each other to death. And everyone's like, yeah. It's like, fuck, bro.
Yeah.
It's like what started as a way to like settle disputes. Everyone just went, you know what, this is actually mad fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, let's do this more often.
Yeah, let's throw flying knees involved.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Such a crazy, like, I love breaking things down into their like most simple concepts, and when you say them in their like out loud, you're like, fuck, that sounds so stupid. Like, oh man.
Even the idea of fighting, like it's just so dope that you can have the ultimate fighting champion, which is the best fighter in the world in any sport. Like that's what a title, bro. What a title.
Yeah, 100%.
And Volk being the pound for pound #1 is just so good for
Shout out,
Australians,
boy.
bro. Yeah.
The king.
Yeah. Yeah. So dope. Oh, I tell you what, I want to get straight into uni now. So
Okay, yeah, mate.
for everyone, including myself, who doesn't understand, what is the course that you're studying?
So I'm studying a Bachelor of Paramedicine.
Okay, paramedicine.
Yeah. So
And is that strictly to be as a paramedic in an ambulance? Is that strictly for that?
no, so essentially the way it works. So once you've got your degree, you then can go through and get registered with the with APRA. It's like so it was like in 2018 they brought in this board that make sure that all essential medical professionals are registered, and that was more so. It was more so for patient safety in a way, I feel, because it meant like if you fucking broke your leg and a paramedic was like, oh, it's not even broken, you can be like, okay, cool, what's your name? And they give you their name, and then you can be like, yeah, this guy done this, and submit a complaint. So it sort of helped protect patients a bit. But the end goal of your degree is to get registered and to get a registration, and then before you get a registration, you can't actually call yourself a paramedic. Like, it's a big fucking thing. Like, if I went out there, like, I work as an event medic at festivals and shit now. If someone was like, oh, are you a paramedic? And I was to be like, yeah, I am. Fuck, I can get in so much shit.
Wow.
Because I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm essentially lying about my qualifications because the step up in between, like, where I'm at and a paramedic qualification is fucking huge.
Yeah, okay.
So, but then, yeah, so once you're registered as a paramedic, you can work in like for New South Wales or any state service, or you can do like you can work in the private sector. So like pretty much what I'm doing now, but you can work in as a paramedic. So it's just the only difference is it just changes your scope. So it changes what you can and can't do. Your qualifications are obviously heaps higher. But the standard that you've got to work to, fuck, I was thinking about it today. It's fucking, this makes me so nervous because obviously it's a job where people's lives are literally in your hands. To an extent.
Well, that's pressure, Con. That's pressure.
100%. And it's like it's such a thing where, you know, you do one thing wrong and like, and I always go back to, so I got my diploma first a couple of years ago, and I had this South African instructor. He's the best bloke I've ever met in my entire life.
Nice.
And he's like, in his thick South African accent, he was like, you know, everything you do, you need to be able to stand in a coroner's court.
Oh.
He's like, every single
heavy.
action that you take, you need to make sure you can justify in a coroner's court. And that has never fucking left me ever since. And
That's professional for any career path, bro.
It's so crazy because it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's like as a first aider, or I don't even know if it's I need to brush up on that. But it's like, so for example, if you're walking in the street, like you've got no medical training, whatever. If you're walking through the street and you see someone fucking have a heart attack, bang, right in front of you, and you see someone doing CPR, if you jump in and do CPR and you break a couple ribs, because you should when you do CPR if you're doing it properly, and they're like, I want to sue you because you broke my rib, you're covered under this act called the Good Samaritan Act. Oh yeah. Because you've saved their life. Yeah. As soon as
you tried
to, or tried to, you know what I mean? Cool. You've done it with positive intention.
Yeah.
Even if it's it might have a somewhat of a negative result, but if they've had a heart attack, their heart stopped.
Yeah.
And you've done CPR and you've effectively resuscitated them. You're so sweet. You're covered by the Good Samaritan Act, all the rest, all the bells and whistles.
Bro, I'm going to be tripping fucking hot chicks over, hoping they hit their heads. Like, oh no!
Oh no, mouth to mouth.
Good Samaritan. I'm yelling it out.
Good Samaritan, I swear.
Samaritan.
Everybody, take me out. I'm a good Samaritan.
Nah. Hey, back off. I'm a
professional.
I got this. Back off.
But as soon as like even now, like with my diploma, because I've got some degree of qualification, if I were to do, like, I won't use the same example, but it's hard to put a pin on an exact example.
Yeah.
But if I were to do something that I thought was correct and it turns out to have any negative sort of consequences or deteriorates their life in any way, I'm fucked.
So, like, for example, if someone is having a reaction to something and you inject them with a quick fucking thing to, like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. So let's just say they're allergic to something that you give them, but you'll try and do the right thing and it makes them situation worse.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's like, so for example, like with that, like we were literally doing it today. One of the big fucking questions you ask is allergies. Like you're fucking triple checking. Like, are you sure you're not allergic? Like if you've got to give them something, like let's say you got to give them morphine or whatever. Yeah. You're like, have you ever? So this is morphine. Have you ever had morphine before? Yeah, I had. Did you have any reactions to it? And they're like, no, I haven't. Mad. As long as you've like fucking triple checked, if something happens, that would, I guess, to an extent stand, because and it goes down to like there's a lot of individual smaller aspects that sort of add together, like making sure that they've got like capacity and they're competent in what they're telling you. So essentially, if you can determine that they've got the capacity and they're competent, then you know that the words that are coming out of their mouth are either truthful or they're lying about it on purpose. It's not like they don't have any knowledge. It's not like they've fallen and hit their head and they think they're not allergic to anything, but they actually are. They've just forgotten. Yeah. It's one of those. Yeah,
oh, that's why they say, what's your name? Where do you live?
Yeah,
How many fingers am I holding up?
Whenever, like, if you've ever had a fucking paramedic, fuck, man, you're like, you've got your leg broken and they will sit there and they're like, oh, like, that's pretty shit. What's your name? What's this? What's that? And they hit you with the 20 questions and you're like, man, just fix my fucking leg.
Where are you right now?
Yeah. And they want to make sure that, because essentially at the end of the day, everything, it's going to sound real, like, it's going to sound real slack, but like the number one thing for paramedics is like, you always ensure your own safety before the patient's. Which sounds like such a backwards concept because you're there to help them. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, the easiest way to think about it is if someone's been stabbed and you pull up and there's no one else there, you're like, where's the guy that stabbed him? You know what I mean? You're like, until you know that he's fucked off like for good, you might not even get out of your car. Like, it's such a
fuck, that makes sense,
shitty
bro.
thing.
What's the point of running into a burning building if the building's falling down?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And it's like, I don't know, it's not about like, and like talking to a few people who don't have any experience, like in my degree and stuff like that, and they're like, I just want to help people. And I'm like, that's really good. Like, that's a really good solid base. But you can't help anyone if you're fucking dead. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or if you're, like, if you go down, who the fuck's going to help you?
That's actually the first thing you learn in your first aid course. Danger.
Yeah, exactly. It's your doctor's ABCD, man. Danger's the top one. And it's not just like people are like, oh yeah, like it's so weird when you do your first aid and stuff. They're like, oh, we're going to simulate danger. And like, it's good for getting your first aid certificate. But it's like, when you actually put it into practice, you're like, what am I actually looking for? You know what I mean? It's like, it's got to be such a comprehensive thing.
Oh, that makes sense in so many fields, bar. Because you can think about that with lifeguard. You can
exactly right.
Run out if the person's fucking in a swell.
Yeah,
you know
or I mean? Like someone's been bitten by a shark, and you're like, "I'll go get him." So, hang on, do you know where the shark is?
Yeah,
fuck, man. I don't know. It's just
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like it sounds slack, and I always feel slack. Like when people ask me about it, and I've had this discussion a couple of times, and like I tell them like that, they all like most people give me that look like, oh. You sound like a bit of a dick. I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, man, like I've gone through by the end of it, like I've gone through fucking total like 4 years. 4 or 5 years of fucking training to get to this point.
Wow.
If I go down, you know what I mean? Like,
what a waste. And then how many people could
not just a waste for me, but like
it's a waste for how many people could have been helped in the future.
Exactly right. Exactly. Not to say that I'm going to be a weapon and I'm going to save like hundreds of thousands of people, but it's not, for me, it's not like about like saving people. It's just like, I don't know, I'm going back to like before that. There's always someone having a worse day than you. Just being able to be someone that they can at least you can just make their day just a little bit better. Yeah. That's a massive thing for me. That was like the main reason why I did it. And I love the adrenaline.
So what was, do you remember the moment that made you first realize of what you want to get into?
Yeah. I've always wanted to do like to be in like the sort of health field. Like mum was a nurse. So like I was always like, I didn't know how I'd go with blood and stuff like that. I was always like a little bit squeamish, especially even to this day still, like I can rock up and see someone with like a break. But if I watch it happen, I'm like, oh, no.
yeah, that's
if I
great.
literally, like, if I watch someone fucking jump off a roof and land, they snap. I don't know. Yeah, I can't do that. But I could rock up to them after the fact.
Yeah.
And be like, that's pretty shit.
That's
But
fucked,
But like, I'm
Where
here.
are
I'm
you?
here to go. Yeah. Where are you? What's your name? No, but yeah, the moment that I first realized that, like, not that I wanted to do it, but that it was something that I could do, because I was obviously thinking about it for a little bit before that. It was actually in Penrith Westfield, and they were doing, you know where like I think it's Coles now, but where Target used to be, like downstairs, and you've got the Pretzel World and all that shit.
Yeah.
When they were doing that, the
love
bubble,
that Pretzel
bro,
World.
how good is it? I love that place. I go there every time.
Yeah.
But when they were making that, when they were building that little bubble tea shop just next to it,
Yeah.
and they had the cables running obviously to the closest power source because it's in the middle of the walkway, and they have those foam ramps that they put over the cables.
Yeah.
There was an older lady, and she just didn't see it, and she tripped. She had hands full of like shopping bags,
She
nothing to
ate
put up.
shit.
Yeah, she ate shit so hard, just face planted,
Fuck,
and I was
that's so sad.
it was fucking broke, like hurt to watch. So it was like slow motion, man. Just seeing it coming, and I was like, fuck.
Fuck, that hurts
Because I was
me.
right behind her too, and I sat her up, and fuck, man, I took one look at her face, her nose was like, it was broken as fuck. it was sideways, it was pissing out blood. So I sat with her. I had a little thing of tissues in my back pocket. I whipped them all out, plugged her up, whatever. Oh, that's it. Yeah, just fucking plugged. No, I didn't do none of that. But I was like, man, like here's this. Like, I sort of helped her slide back and lean against like a wall.
Imagine how much pain that bitch would have been.
I know. And it's such a thing. We're talking about it today. Like with elderly people, they don't want to be a burden on other people. So she's there with her nose fucking sideways, and she's like, it's okay, I'm fine. You can just leave me. I'm like, no, cunt, I'm not fucking. What are you talking about?
Oh, my soul is on fire, bro.
And then I was just lucky. I had her daughter come running up, and because I fucking somewhere that I needed to be. But like I wasn't worried about it. But
Pretzel stand,
yeah, pretzel stand. Yeah. Blood on my hands. Like, can I have an American cheese? Like, no, but and her daughter come up and she's like, oh my god, like thank you so much. Like, I can handle this from now on. I was like, it's all good. Call 000 or whatever. I said you can take her to a hospital, but like if you call an ambulance, it'll be heaps quicker to get her in a hospital. You know what I mean? She's there. They can give her shit for pain right now. Yeah. As opposed to waiting in fucking emergency for 2-3 hours. But yeah, and I sort of walked away from that, and it didn't hit me for like, I don't know, maybe another week or two after that. And I was like, because I was just going back to thinking about like, just those thoughts, like, fuck, what am I going to do in my life? And like, I sort of like, all those thoughts that I'd had about not being able to handle shit, I was like, fuck, that all went. Just that pure adrenaline that ran through me, and I just took over and started doing it. I was like, fuck. I've had one moment like that since I started, like, sort of knew some basics that's reaffirmed it, and I was fucking.
Tell the story.
I honestly can't wait. There's actually a video of it happening. I was with my dad. We were coming home it was just in Penrith on Northern Road, and this fucking dumb cunt, bro. This chick, she's pulling out. She's got a so it's on Mulgo or Castlereagh Road, whatever, down towards Cranebrook, and there's 2 lanes going either way, and she's in the turning lane, so she's got to turn across 2 lanes of traffic. And she's sitting there, and the red arrow goes away. So she can creep out, and when it's safe to turn, she can go. It's fucking 2:30 in the afternoon on a school day. It's chockers. And she starts creeping out, and she creeps out so far that one lane literally stops. They can't get through. But this other lane, obviously, because there's so many cars backed up, they can't see. She can't see. She whips out. Some poor bloke T-bones the absolute shit out of her. And they ended up coming spinning and hit my dad's car. And it's so funny because you can hear all the audio on it. You can hear my dad like, because you can see it happening from a mile away. And they hit us, and he's like, fuck. And then he goes to undo his seatbelt, and I'm already out. I was out of the car. I ran straight past her car. I was like, you're an idiot. I looked in, and she's sitting there like this. I'm like, fuck, she's all right. Old mate's airbags deployed, so I was like, fuck, he's probably a little bit worse for wear, but he was sweet as he got his hands up in front of the airbag. I was like, fuck. The ambo rocked up. He's like, what are you, the fucking Flash, bro? Like, how the fuck do you do that? He's like, I don't know, man. I seen it coming. I just went like this.
He hit his burger, bro. He was actually mid-bite.
Yeah, he's like, fuck.
He just hit it, bro.
Yeah, they thought it was blood. It was just tomato sauce. Yeah, no, it's just like little moments that I have like that. Just help keep me on the right path. Like just keep helping me remember that like I can do it sort of thing.
Yeah.
'Cause it's not like I don't want to do it. It's always when I get into my head, it's more of a can I do it?
Yeah, okay. Fuck, I've never had that thought about a lot of things actually. Because you'd feel like you don't
You associate
know if
them
you're
together.
capable of handling the situation sometimes. And it is high pressure situation, bro. So I think it's amazing, dude. It's fucking. We need as many people like you as we can.
Oh, yeah,
like,
they're
nothing.
screaming for paramedics everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, everywhere screaming for them. Yeah.
Is it? You don't have to be like. You don't have to tell me exactly, but is it paying enough for people to want to become incisive to do it?
For me personally, I think so. If you look at any ambulance around Metro Sydney, they'll fucking tell you the opposite. So New South Wales is the lowest paid state.
Yeah.
At the moment for paramedics. It's like it's not a secret. It's like you can just go online and look it up. It's like I think I could be wrong. I don't know. I've heard some mixed reviews. So like I've heard like I think the first week some bloke was like, oh, you get like 69 grand
a
year.
That's good.
Which I'm like,
That's above average
that's
salary.
fucking heaps.
Yeah.
And then he's like, but then you've got your shift allowances and stuff on top of that. So I'm thinking, okay, like 80 grand or something. Like I'm pretty happy with that. But then you get all the people, they're like, you know, for the risk, like the risk versus benefit, they're like, yes, like we're getting paid well, but they're like, at the end of the day, we have one, like you work in an office, you have a shit day, you send an email to someone who didn't need that email, you get yelled at, fuck, it blows over. You have a shit day as an ambo, you give someone the wrong drug, you fucking kill them, your career's over. So they're like, there needs to be a little bit more, and I think it's only because all the other states are a bit jacked up.
Yeah.
All New South Wales paramedics are like, fuck man, like we need a bit better than this.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I heard from another tutor the other day, he's like, nah bro, he's like 80's way too low. I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, like I don't mean like 80's low. He's like, I mean you're earning more than 80.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like what are you talking, like ballpark? He's like, oh, like 120?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck.
That's dope.
Fuck, I don't care. Because I was like, I was literally getting to a point where I was like, man, I want to be earning more money. I might move to Queensland. I thought I had this plan set out. I was like, I'm going to move to Redcliffe. There's a hockey stadium. There's a hockey field there. There's a fucking footy stadium there. I'm like, fuck, it's on the beach. Like, I'm like, yeah, I got it sorted. I get paid more.
Yeah.
And then I was just, I don't know. And then I was like, no, fuck that. If I'm earning 120, fuck, bro, I'll stay here. Fuck it up. Like, man, I'm going to be earning 60. And I'm like, bro, I'll stay anyway. Money's money to me at the moment, man. Like, I don't know. I feel like people
that's
just...
a good incentive. That is good. And I understand the concept of like, it's a high risk, not low reward, but it's not a high reward. Like in terms of like what other people could be earning for their jobs, you know what I mean? It really is. And I think that they're not alone in that. I think that there needs to be, and you've done a lot of training, bro. 5 years, you're saying you've almost come up to.
Yeah, that's just me. That's because I've done my diploma first. But like, if it's just uni alone, the degree's like 3 years to get your registration. The one I'm at now, the uni I'm at is it's a fast tracked. So it's like, instead of doing 2 semesters a year, I do 3 trimesters. So I get fucking literally next to no breaks. Go over Christmas, all the rest.
Wow.
But it's done in 2 years.
Yeah, nice.
2 years and I've got my registration.
Yeah.
So I can't complain about it. I love it. But it's still it's a.
Did you earn your keep, bro? Like, fuck, 120 is what you should be earning. You earn your keep. Like, I think that money should be like in a lot of different careers as well. Like, I think that public school teaching should be a way higher paid job. I really do think
100%.
Police force needs to be a higher paying job, but it needs to come with a lot more training. So I think that you can increase the salaries that people are earning, but you also have to increase the risk as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think, I don't know, we have a bad... Paramedics are one of those things, though, that there's no bad annotation towards it. So I don't know why it isn't one of the most high-paying jobs. But I think as time goes on, it looks like it's going to be earning more and more.
Yeah,
and
well,
more.
it's on an upwards trend. It's on an upwards trend. But it's like, it's going to sound so corny, but it's one of those jobs where, fuck, man, I could get paid 40 grand a year. I wouldn't like to be, but I could.
Yeah.
Because I've got such a genuine interest in it. And everything I've done so far, I fucking profit. Like, I love it.
Sick.
It's just, I don't know.
I could not get out of bed for the job I'm doing for that. Like, I'm not passionate about it in that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and that's what I mean.
awesome that
It's so weird. Going back to like earlier, I'm like, it's so weird to hear those concepts. You hear people like, man, I live for my job. Like, I love it. And I'm like, fuck, I couldn't imagine that. Like, I'd rather sit at home and do fucking nothing. And then you find like, I don't know. It's like, it's such
Passion,
such a passion for it. It's like, I can't put it into words. Like,
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Well, invite me into the world of what unis are like. So recently, the whole concept of unis interests me lately because I didn't understand that we had like different tiers for what different universities were like. Like some of them are more looked at like a higher end fucking uni. I didn't know it worked like that.
Okay.
But I'm more curious about the course you're studying. So what was some of the most interesting things that you learned in your course? And I'm happy for you to go with as much detail or as little detail.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. Well, so far it's been very majority basics, which I've sort of already covered in my diploma, but there's been sort of, it's good like just like re-solidifying like all of those basics. Honestly, the most interesting thing for me at the moment is the people.
Yeah,
Because
cool.
like it's just such a different crowd of people than what I'm used to. Like, so obviously I did my diploma, but most of that was online. So I met new people and this and that, which was really good. But now like I'm meeting, it's that weird experience. You get this at any uni, but you go back in, being almost 24, you're sitting in a classroom with people that have just turned 18.
Yeah,
And you hear them speak, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. Bro.
Yeah, that's
Like,
cool.
I heard one of them go the other day, like, oh my God, my 18th's next weekend. I'm like, fuck, bro. What are you talking about, man?
That's crazy.
I don't know, it's crazy. I guess, like, if I had to put it down to the stuff that I've learned so far, whoa. Well, there's a couple of juicy bits. I don't know, we haven't gone into the, like, all the real fun, interesting shit. Actually, the most interesting thing I did wasn't actually for my study. I got approached by a tutor, and they wanted us to come in for the second year students to do. They had like a trauma simulation day. So I went in and played essentially a brain dead patient. That could like. So I had to lay on this cold as fuck bathroom floor while like I had to put on. Bro, it was so weird. They're like, "I'll put on these trackies and put on this shirt like over your clothes so they can cut them off and simulate like it's a complete simulation."
Yeah, wow.
I was like, mad. And I went to put on the trackies, bro,
bloody
and
best,
they're
yeah.
fucking St. Dom's trackies. I was like, who the fuck got these, man? I'm at a fucking uni in fucking Leichhardt and I'm wearing St. Dom's trackies. It's such a spit out.
That's crazy.
But yeah, and just like watching them, like how they move and how they coordinate like their team, because it's two teams of two. So it's like how they coordinate and how they put all the skills that we're covering now on such a basic level. Like we spent 4 hours today going through something that team went through in like 40 seconds.
Yeah, wow.
And it's like, it's such a fascinating thing to watch how literally just 12 months, like they're 12 months ahead of us. And that's the level that they're at compared to what we're at.
Wow.
And I feel like that keeps me motivated because I'm like, yeah, it might be slow and basic at the moment to an extent, but in 12 months time, I'm going to be that.
You can see the headlights. And the
Yeah,
difference,
exactly
yeah.
right. And like they've come in a couple times, they've pulled our whole year group in and they've done a trauma simulation on the stage of like an adult going into cardiac arrest and like the full kit and caboodle. Like they're getting an IV line in, they're fucking putting the defib on, they're doing CPR, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're calling in a helicopter, like fucking all the fucking bells and whistles. And I'm like, bro, like that's, I don't know, watching that, I'm like, that's going to be my job in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just such an interesting thing.
Is that fearful or is that just excitement? How do you feel about it?
I feel like it's a healthy mixture of both.
Yeah, okay.
It's a healthy mixture of both. And the only reason I say a healthy mixture of both is because it needs to be a mixture of both. If I was to sit here and say, oh, I'm so shit scared or I'm nothing but excited, I'd be fucking so lying.
Yeah.
I'd be so lying. I feel like they coincide with each other so much. Like that element of fear is necessary so that you don't get in over your head. You take that extra second, like have a breath, because fuck, shit can get pretty confronting. Like, it's important to take those little pause moments where you're like, all right, just re-go over everything, make sure everything's sweet, then keep going. And that excited feeling is also important, because otherwise, fuck, I wouldn't love it. I wouldn't love it. I'd go in and be like, oh my God, 4 people have been in a car accident. They're all mangled.
bitching.
They're all this and that. Like, fuck, your arm's not even that. It's
Fuck, I got
still
a roast.
hanging
I got
on.
a roast in the fucking oven,
Yeah,
bro.
man, I broke my arm once too. I don't care if yours is hanging off. Like,
The
come on,
fucking
man.
footy's on in like 15 minutes. Can we
Yeah,
wrap
like,
this
can
up?
we wrap this up? Yeah.
You didn't see the red light, you dumb cunt. Call
Yeah.
the cops.
Bro, maybe you shouldn't have fallen asleep at the wheel, Jennifer. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, ruining my day. No, like, I don't know. It's just one of those things that, like, it's, I don't know. Like I said before, it's so shit for this, because, like, it's such an important, like, it's such a good topic to talk about, but I struggle to talk about it because there's so many things I could say.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's hard to just pick out moments and throw them out.
Yeah. It's because you're overwhelmed with fucking positivity, bro. It's the passion. You can't... The podcast is one of those things where I just yap all day about it. I just yarn to every cunt, like, fuck. Like, I don't do it like, oh, guess what? I've got a podcast. It's like, someone will be like, oh, do you have one? Because something will come up like, oh, last night I filmed a podcast episode. And I'll just talk. I could talk for 5 days. Like, literally for 5 days. You know what I mean? Because I'm passionate about it.
Yeah, it's not one of those things where you're waiting around, you're like, I've got an idea for my podcast. It's not like ideas for a YouTube video. Like, it's like, you come out of here and you talk fucking whatever you want to talk about because it's something that you love, and I feel like that's such an important thing.
Yeah, well, how you're explaining to me is like, I'm so grateful to be the age I am, to know people around the same age, because I get the insight to what everything's like before people become foundation inside of things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We could be having this conversation in 20 years time, and I'm not saying you won't have the same passion, you won't have the same love for it, but your mentality won't be the same, because it's experience that has built up what you're up to now.
Yeah, exactly,
and
right.
It's like I won't need to stress. I've been through this procedure. Like you have stories of like, this is one time it was actually a bit different. I couldn't believe this person jumped off the 3rd floor and landed on a fucking pole. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It was crazy to see him fucking just suspended off his ankle, being like, help! Like, you never know. You know what I mean?
I can't wait for shit like that. Eh? Like, you walk up to a barbecue and you're like, bro, I saw someone's dick get cut off. That was such an extreme example. Because that's another thing that I've been really like, not fearful of, but like, so like, obviously I do event medic work at the moment, like on a as needs basis, festivals, all that sort of shit. And I went through a pretty rigorous thing with that, like non-disclosure agreements, this and that. And I was always like when I first started uni, I've got mates.
Wait, what's the non-disclosure for? Like
so patient data. So it's part of the Privacy Act and all this shit. Like, you can't disclose patient details. So like name, gender, like all that sort of pretty standard shit.
Can you tell stories of a person who once fucking
that's
this
where
crazy cap or something?
That's where I was getting fearful, because like I went to uni and I would meet people that do very similar stuff to me but with other companies, and they're like, oh man, like, yeah, I did this and I did that, and this person fucking, they had their left leg hanging off, and I was like, I don't know if I could speak about that. But then like, I don't know, like, I feel like it's also a part of the job. Like, you need to talk about things to anyone, because otherwise fucking eats you up. But like, I don't know. I don't think about it too much anymore. In terms of like worrying about it, because I'm like, at the end of the day, like now that I've been exposed to like my uni tutors, they're all New South Wales paramedics, and they all talk about jobs to us all the time to give us an insight. And they're just like, oh, like some old lady, or like I had a lady the other day who had a heart attack and shit herself, or something like that. Like,
so like the cafeteria lady.
They're not like Mrs. Melinda fucking Barstow. Sorry if that's an actual name. But
Shout out.
Shout out Melinda Barstow. But like, yeah, she's 39. She lives on 31 Ridge Creek. Like,
imagine if that was legit, but
oh fuck, bro, I'd actually start sweating bullets. I was thinking about this like maybe 5 minutes ago. I was like, oh, I'll drop in like just a random name, and I'm like, I hope I don't actually like subconsciously say someone's actual name. Like, oh fuck.
I just delete it, bro. No one even know.
No, I'm like 98.5% positive that it's not someone that I know his name.
Sweet. Yeah, sweet.
But no.
That reminds me of today. I was actually on the phone call with Bossy, and one of the people I want to have on the podcast in the future is this psychic lady.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I'm super interested in the last 2 weeks of psychics.
Yeah.
And I know someone who knows someone, so I'm going to see if they can come do one.
Yeah, that'd be mad.
And we're saying, like, wouldn't it be crazy if I'm going to ask her shit like, and this may never happen, but like, let's just say crazy idea that I say, can you like predict things through the power of the internet? So say, could you tell who's listening and then be like, oh, by the way, watch out for this person, you know what I mean? Like, imagine they could do that.
Like, do like a second-hand, like, fucking psych reading of someone who's what. Fuck, could you imagine being that person, Mark?
Yeah, bro, but that's what we're talking about.
Podcast and they're like, be careful of the man behind you, and you're like, what? What the fuck?
Exactly what we're saying, bro.
That'd be creepy.
And like, sorry, Fozzie, I'm going to put you on blast here, but I'll make you feel more comfortable. But I go, dude, imagine if the person's just like, stop picking your fucking nose, look to your left, someone's watching, and he started laughing. He's like, I was picking my nose, guy. You know what I mean? Like, I was picking my nose too, so I didn't matter.
That's so funny.
Picking my nose too. But then we're saying, imagine if psychics were actually, because I'm starting to believe him, because some of the things they say, like my coworker today, his brother went to see a psychic. and he was on the phone in the morning, wouldn't get off it. Shout out to you, Greg. As I said, wouldn't get off the phone in the morning. And he was saying that his brother went to go see a psychic, and the psychic said to him, "Hey, by the way, tell your brother that his house is waiting for some paperwork and it should get filled out today." I'm paraphrasing it, but something like that.
Yeah.
And then he called Greg. He's like, "Yeah, dude, like that's literally what I need to do in order to fucking get this house finalized."
What the fuck?
And I'm like, wow, so it must work secondhand somehow, you know?
That's crazy.
So then imagine if the psychic could tell through secondhand, but also with time. So if someone's listening to the podcast, the person on the podcast could be like, "Bro, brake." And you know what I mean? And the cunt's just like on his phone, he looks up and he fucking brakes because you know what I mean?
Fucking hell, that'd be
imagine they
wicked.
could see
That'd be
through
such
time.
a spin out. That'd be such a spin
Yeah.
out. You'd be like, fuck, bro. I'd be like, if that shit happened to me, I'd be like, bro, you saved my life.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Hey, just to let you know, life is fake.
yeah, 100%. We're in a simulation.
Yeah, I don't know how that reminded me of that. Something reminded me of that you were saying.
No, that's cool, but that'd be so sick.
Yeah.
That'd be so sick.
Yeah. Did you think that you'd be interested in uni growing up? Did you ever think you'd be that person? Because you worked with your old man on the tools for a while.
Yeah, it was one of those things like, I don't want to sound like I'm sucking my own dick or anything, but like I was always a smart kid growing up. Like, you know, ducks at primary school. No, I'm just kidding.
gang.
But no, but like I always said growing up to Dad, I was also a lazy cunt, like bona fide, like fucking born and raised. Well, not raised. Sorry, mum. Sorry, mum. Sorry, Dad. No, but it was just a product of the way that I wanted to live my life at the time. I was a lazy kid. You could tell by looking at me. I was a little fat cunt. I don't know. I always sort of, I'm guessing that like subconsciously I just saw working for Dad as the easy option because I was like, look, I've got work right here. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to go looking for work. I don't have to do all that bullshit. And I remember saying, I would have been pretty young. I would have been maybe 12 or 13. And I said to Dad, I was like, I want to work for you. I want to work for your company. And Dad said, get fucked. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, cunt, you're fucking way smarter than I am. He goes, I'd hate to see you as your dad. He's like, I'd hate to see you not wasting your life away. He's like, this might come to be something that you gain a genuine, like I'm not fucking shutting down tradies at all, but he's like, this might come to be something that you've got a genuine interest in one day and you fucking crush. But he's like, I want you to go and explore trying to do something where you've actually got to fucking really use he always said to me, you're a smart cunt, but you're a dumb cunt. You go, you're a dumb cunt because you're lazy, but you're a smart cunt. Like, you know what I mean? And like, he's always like, I want you to at least go and fucking have a red hot crack at doing something with your brain. And if it doesn't work out and you're like, no, you know, like he's like, if you hit an age where you're like, I'm dead set on doing fucking shop fitting. He's like, I won't stop you. I can't stop you. But he's like, I want you to have a crack. I don't want you to just do this because it's here. And he's like, and because it's what I did. He's like, I want you to go and try and be your own person. That's had some moments now I'm thinking about it. He's had some moments.
Well, that's an awesome insight. That's, I don't know whether to feel bad that he maybe feels that he didn't get to pursue the life that he wanted to pursue, but I think that it's more in the sense that he had such high expectations of you, which is such an awesome thing for a father to think of as his son. Like, why limit you to the world, to the life I've lived? You have the potential to fucking see the world, bro.
Yeah, but
Like,
that was his thing. He's like, he's like, my dad, like, or his dad growing up, he was like, you know, he's like, my dad always wanted better for me. And he's like, that's my philosophy. You always want your kids to have a better life than you did. He's like, you're going to have the fucking best life ever, but you want them to be better. You want them, or not be better, but you want them to have a better life. Yeah. Because it's one of those things, it's like, you don't want to, like, I don't want to put it down to it, but it's like, you know, your parents work so fucking hard from the ages of like fucking infant to, let's say, like 16, 17, because you sort of get a bit of dependency around it, being realistic.
When you get your license, you really do change.
Yeah, exactly right. But they're like, you know, they've put in so much hard work. And that was what came down to it for me. I was like, because I shit kicked around for a fucking couple years after that. Like, I fucking, like with I got admitted straight out of high school, done some dumb shit, hung out with some fucking great people that I'm still mates with, but just together as a group.
Dumb shit,
No, not even just dumb shit. We just weren't mature. Like, it's such a, I feel like such an old cunt trying to say that now.
Jesus Christ.
I feel like such an old cunt trying to say that. But like, like it's looking back at it, I'm like, oh, it's such a, like, it was fun. Don't get me wrong, it's fun.
No regrets.
And I'm glad I did it because it's helped me grow as a person. But it's also like, fuck, it was so stupid. And like, I just shit kicked around for a little while, and then it sort of pushed me and my family apart quite substantially. And it was one of those things that when I come back, And it's one of those things that like you don't know what you've got until it fucks off.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for better or worse, it did fuck off for a little bit. But it came back and it just gave me a new appreciation. I was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking, all the lessons that they've taught me in life, I'm going to try and implement, because they've done that not just out of something different. Like, they've done that for a reason. They've done that out of the kindness sort of their heart to try and set me up a bit better.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that I was like, it's going to sound corny, but I'm like, they've given to me for so long. I don't want to make them. I want to make them. Oh, not make them proud.
You don't want to disappoint them.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah,
Fuck, it's like that age. Like, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Fuck, that hits so much worse. Hits so much. No, like, scream at me, please.
Yeah, bro. I had a boss that used to hit me with that too, and fuck, that killed me.
No, it does, man.
Kill me. I'm like, just yell at me, bro. I had some big fuck ups for this one boss I had, and like, I mean, like, fuck, I did some dumb shit, and he didn't even yell at me, bro. He just looked at me, and I'm like. And these are dumb decisions I've made outside of work that's affected my work. Yeah. And he's just looking at me and he's shaking his head. I'm like, just yell at me, bro. Just yell at me.
Please, rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the best medicine. Like, it's like, no, like, I condemn you to fucking sit with your thoughts, like, reflect on it. That's a big thing for me lately as well, actually. Reflecting on shit. Yeah. Holy fucking shit.
Good.
It's just insight and, like, being able to, like, intrinsically fucking like have a look at yourself and stop and look at yourself like from someone else's perspective. Even it's fucking mind-blowing. It's like I've lived my life for me forever, or I feel like everyone does, and I was like, yeah, like, I'm so sweet. And then like every now and then I just look at myself, I'm like, okay, you're in a quiet setting, turn your voice down a little bit, you're looking like a fuckwit. Like, you know what I mean? It's just that little bit of internal monologue where I'm like, fuck, bro, you need to calm down.
I'm not that good at that, actually.
No, neither am I. I'm good at that after the fact.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
But that's what reflection's good for. It's practice for the moment, thinking in the past. Like, people say not to think in the past. I've gone off topic. I actually had a point that I wanted to bring up before when you mentioned parents. And it's funny how you're the same age roughly as me. I'm only a tiny bit older than you. Actually, almost exactly 1 year older than you.
Alright, flex, but okay.
Yeah. So I know we're on the same level of thinking where you're so grateful for all the effort your parents really did put in towards you. Because like, I've met some people and their parents didn't. They really didn't. And you think to yourself, like, imagine how much stress I caused when I was doing this dumb shit. Imagine how much stress I caused every time I got in trouble in school, every time they would have had to have a conversation with another parent. But then now I'm thinking about the fact that my parents will actually never stop thinking and worrying. They will never, ever stop.
That's the role of a parent, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, you always give the best.
And that just improves my gratification. It's just like, fuck. Thank you so fucking much for just always being someone I can count on. That's such an important thing, bro. Like, it just slips your mind, or you just live your life and you don't think about it.
One of those things is they're saying, like, taking things for granted. Fuck, man. Like, it's like, it's so true. It's so true. It happens every day.
And it's if anyone listening too, like, I mean it, like, you are someone's world. Yeah. You're literally someone's entire existence. And it's hard because most of us, except Jay, shout out to you, Jay, you're starting to understand having a daughter of your own, but I have no one that I can give my entire life to. I don't know the feeling. Yeah. So, and thinking about it is almost scary because it's like, but this is my life. You know what I mean?
Exactly right.
And until I get kids, I won't understand it. But that, I don't know. I think it's just dope. I think having kids will reassure me even further that, like, fuck, my parents did a fucking good job. This is fun.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
That's I literally heard, like, fucking that almost word for word the other day. I was watching Tom Segura.
Oh, I love Tom Segura.
He's such a funny guy. Yeah. It wasn't his new one. I can't remember what I think.
I just watched his new one today.
Sledgehammer? How good is it?
Dope,
it's so good, bro. I watched it the other day.
Bit in the shower. I won't say it for anyone. I won't ruin it.
So good.
Got it. I'll put a link in the description. Tom Segura's stand-up special. It was so, that scene in the shower, I was actually laughing so hard. And the scene about Bert, where he dropped Bert's name.
Everyone goes, yeah.
And he goes, I'll cut this video with that was so funny.
It was so good. Yeah. But no, I was watching him the other day and he's like talking about like his love that he has for his kids. And he's like, it's always, he's like, it's comedic to me when like he's like, you know, you have kids and obviously it's like for anyone out there who has kids, it's such a different form of love. And he's like, you hear all these people. I love the way he delivers everything.
Yeah.
But the way he delivers it, he's like, you know, you're hanging out with your friend who doesn't have any kids, and like they're like, no, like I totally get it. Like I have so much love for my dog. And he's like, you don't get it. Fuck, I love Tom Segura. Shout out to Tom. No,
Tom, I know you're listening.
yeah, I know you're listening, brother.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck, it was so funny. It was so funny that you brought that up. I was like, oh, just instantly went back to that.
Yeah.
But,
It's fucking sick. Do you want to have kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a number, or do you think too much about it?
No, I don't really think too much about it, because I feel like I know so many, like I know, like obviously with working with my dad, like I've got like the 2 tradesmen that worked above me, you know, they've both got their own families now, and like fuck, I had one of them that was like, no, I want 2, but the missus said only 1, and then she had a second, and then like I got one who's like, no, I don't want kids, or like I want kids, but like I can't afford to have any, and he's got 2, and like you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things, man. It's just fuck when it happens.
You never get it when you want it.
Nah, you never get it when you want it, but it's like one of those things that like it happens, and you're like, I'm not gonna fucking get rid of this. Like, this is such a good opportunity. For me to have this. Why not have it? You know what I mean? Like,
and even the guy that was like, I wanted to have 2. I didn't want to have 2 kids. I didn't have any money. Now I got 2. Yeah, that guy probably wanted to have 2 in the future. Like, he's never gonna be unhappy with the fact that he has 2. So he wants it in the moment.
Yeah, definitely not.
The fact that you never get it when you want it could even be a thing from the past, bro.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's crazy.
It's one of those things. Yeah, like I've always said like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want kids. I did have a little bit where I was like, fuck, I hate kids. Even now, it's like, it's a very I hate random people's kids. I literally got in trouble yesterday at work. I was working at Westfields, like just in a little tenancy, and the padlocks on the outside of the door, obviously, like, you know, when you walk past them, they got those fucking dodgy little doors, just a tiny padlock, whatever. And I was working like in the front of the shop, right next to the door's shut. Padlock's not on it, but it's in the loop. And I seen this hand like fidgeting with it, and I couldn't tell who it belonged to. And I banged on the door. I was like, "Oi, like stop playing with it."
Yeah.
And it went back and kept playing with it. And I opened the door and I seen this kid. I was like, "Stop touching shit." Well, I just, because it was fucking annoying me. I could just
fucking parents,
I could just hear it. Like I didn't like go off, but I was like, "Oi, like stop touching shit." And he just looked at me and then went to touch it again. I was like, "What are you doing?" And his mum come and grabbed him and she's like, "Can't talk to my son like that." I'm like, maybe teach him not to touch shit. And she walked away, but I was like,
"You're raising a thief."
I know, not even. But I just walked inside. I was like, "Fuck it." I have very little patience for random people. Unless like we're connecting on something. Like, it's number one when I'm driving. I fucking have no patience for other people driving. I'm just like, go on, you've got your indicator on, fuck off. Like, but I don't know. But like when I meet other people's kids, like people that I know, I look at their kids and I'm like, what a beautiful creation of life, sort of thing. I'm like that came out of you. Like, that's so fucking mind blowing. Like, I'm like, that's a mini you. Especially when you see him and you're like, oh, people are like, oh, he's got your eyes, you know, whatever. But then you look at him and you're like, holy fuck. He literally looks like you. He's you. Like, it's such a mind blowing thing. I love it.
We've got lots of little kids in the family, and I look at them and they look like their parents, and I'm like, bro, this is like, life can't be real. That's what I think to myself. Like, this is a product of these 2 people, and they literally equal this person.
It's like it's a mathematical equation, and you popped out. Like, it's crazy.
I think it's crazy too, thinking about the fact that you're gonna have kids one day, right? They're gonna be this dumb little fucking kid, and they're just gonna be just this stupid little thing for ages. Like, you're gonna love them. They're gonna think they're cute and shit, but they're just gonna be dumb cunts.
They're gonna
go to school and they're gonna
dumb.
still be dumb cunts, and then they're gonna grow up dumb cunts. And then
they
one
hit this
day
age.
you realize you have to get to a point where you're like, this is a person. Like, how does this turn from a dumb cunt into a human that's thinking the same way I'm thinking? Like, what the hell?
My dad says shit like that to me all the time. Like, my dad had a mate over the other night, and I was in the garage. He's out in the garage having a chuff with him, whatever. And I'm getting ready for hockey, so I'm out there putting my boots on. And he's obviously talking about his kid, who's growing up a bit. Like, he's going to be a big boy, I think. Like, he's only like, I don't know, 3 or something. He's like pretty heavy, and he's like, you know, we go out and he wants to get on my shoulders, and I'm like, man. And 10 minutes later, I'm like, fuck, I feel like my spine's about to break and shit like that. And they're talking, they're laughing, and then I just heard my dad pipe up. He goes, watch out, but one day they turn into this cunt. And I was like, fuck off, cunt. And I could see my dad's mate looking around like, fuck, like, at what point does it get to that sort of thing? Like, I don't know, because me and my dad have a mad relationship. Like, always, like, it hasn't always been mad. We've had our ups and downs, but like, it's like, I don't know, it's such a, fuck, I'm going to say everything on here is pretty fucking cliche that I'm saying, but it's like,
nah, bro, I love it.
When your parents become like your mates in a way,
bro.
fuck, that's so mad.
I love that.
Oh, it's so mad.
As
And,
a
like,
kid feeling that, that's dope. But imagine being a parent feeling that.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, imagine, like, I don't know, like, I say heaps of TikToks and Instagram reels, all that sort of shit. And they're like, you know, like, from the parents' perspective, they're like, their kid's like, oh, I want to go out tonight. And they're like, Matt, where you going? And they're like, oh, I'm just going to go to fucking Jim's house. And they're like, yeah, Matt, tell his parents I said hi. Like, have a good time. Fucking, when are you coming home? Oh, I might stay. Cool, let me know. And they're like, all right, laters. And they do a little fucking handshake or whatever. That's fucking mad. Like, could you imagine how fulfilling, like, you wouldn't, in that moment, as soon as they walk out that door, you'd sigh just pure relief and be like, fuck, we did it right. You know what I mean? Because there's so many, I see so many young kids out there who do dumb shit and there's that connection's just not there, whether it be one party's fault or both.
I think it always comes down to both.
It always comes down to
Always
both.
does.
You know, it always comes down to both. And it's like, I feel slack for those parents when they're like, fuck, where did we go wrong? It's like, you didn't just go wrong. Like, the kid's fucking,
They're their own person.
you know, they're their own person.
And
They're
to
like,
be honest,
especially when they get older.
Product of the two parents. You know, like, realistically.
Yeah. Like, I've seen heaps of homes where like they're good in that moment, but like in the past they haven't always been good. Like, especially, and I feel like you really imprint on your kids' lives. Like I know, I'm not going to drop any names, but like I know a family where like their son is like I wouldn't say he's off the rails, but like he's doing dumb shit. He's doing dumb, and like we all do dumb shit. Fuck, we've all done dumb shit at some point. But like he's doing some real dumb shit, and it's like, man, you could stop it so easily. But he's a product of the environment that he was raised in, and when he was young, it wasn't a bad environment, but it wasn't a great environment. Yeah. And now that environment's really good, and now because that environment's so good, they're like, why is this happening? Why is he doing this? And it's like, well, it's not just him. You guys imprinted on him when he was fucking this tall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's such a thing that you've got to always keep in your mind. If you can keep it positive from day one, they're going to not grow up to be a fuckwit.
And I do think that what makes bonds between kids and parents so much stronger is actually hardship. Hardship makes bonds so much stronger. Like, I feel like my dad and my brother are really my two best mates. And it's a privilege to be able to say that because a lot of people don't have it. And my mum and my sister, they look at them like they're best mates too. Yeah. And I feel like because I've been a piece of shit in the past, it's the part of me for a long time wanted to make up for it. And then along the journey, we discovered we were fucking best mates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's definitely the same with me.
I really do regret being a terrible brother to my younger brother because I have endless love for him. It's unbelievable. To be honest, it makes me want to tear up thinking about it. Yeah. But because I was such a shit brother, it made me want to be such a better brother. And then along the way, fuck, he's actually the sickest cunt. He's my best mate.
It's so crazy how life works like that. Like, I remember, like, growing up, like, not saying my dad was a hard ass growing up, but like I used to do dumb shit. And back then, you know, you get a fucking clip between your ears, whatever. And I grew to like almost be fearful. And it got to a point where it was like I couldn't help myself but be a fucking idiot.
I'm the exact same.
I could not help myself but be a fucking idiot. Yeah. And I'd do something dumb, and the first thought that would go through my head is, why the fuck did I do that? I'm gonna fucking get reamed for it.
You probably always would. Yeah, you're probably like me in school where you literally tell yourself every morning, I'm going to be the best kid. I'm going to try so hard today. I'm not going to get in trouble anymore.
Then you'd fucking kick someone's legs out from under them or some
one
shit.
minute
fucking
later.
Jaws must be a fucking flying knee or some shit.
Yeah. And then it's like you're just a different person. Like, you didn't remember the concept you just created of like, I got this. I don't know, bro. I feel like it might not be a problem that you should feel guilty about. Maybe being a bad kid isn't something that you should ever regret. Because I don't honestly feel like I had any control of it. Yeah. You know, at what age do you really gain insightfulness? Because it's like you kind of don't make bad decisions as you get older because you don't want to upset other people. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that has to be learned.
But as a kid, you don't know those consequences. Yeah. So you don't know until you learn. Yeah. You do dumb shit and you're like, fuck, I won't do that again. But then you might do it again and then you're like, okay, now I really won't do that again. Yeah. But I
have this favorite quote, one of my fucking top favorite quotes. Empathy is the output for the input that is trauma. meaning that unless you've experienced what the pain felt like, you'll never be able to have the empathy for someone when they're going through it.
Yeah.
So that's really all it is. You know what I mean? If you see someone who's suffered, someone who's committed suicide, you can be there for them and you can fucking clap them on the back, but unless you've experienced that pain, you don't know how to really feel what they're feeling.
Yeah, that's true.
So that might be part of growing up. That might be part of seeing the damage you've caused in your parents and your siblings and your friends and your relatives, and then learning from that mistake and now having the fear of creating that empathy again because you have now got the trauma of doing it.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I mean?
That's actually pretty wicked.
Yeah. So,
no, but it makes so much sense. Like, it's one of those things that, like I said before, like when I come out of school and I was hanging out with, like, I just wasn't doing the right things, and it was part me, but it was part like other family issues going on, and everything sort of was just not falling apart, but it was like there was a few little stakes that were just being driven in, and together they formed this one big fuck off hole. And like it was just, we're lucky, you know, we come through it like real good. We're fucking so sweet now, but there's plenty of people that don't come through that. But they still learn just as well. Yeah, I feel like oh man, I literally had an argument. I started a discussion, let's call it, with my mum the other night, just so I could say this point. I was like, Mum, what do you think the most important thing that you can have in the entire world is? Yeah. And she was like, probably. She's like, And she actually thought about it. I was like, I was sort of waiting for her to just be like, oh, I don't know. But she sort of thought about it, and she's like, probably money, like, you know, like, oh, not money, but like wealth. So like making sure that you've got enough to get by and stuff like that. And I was like, fuck no. Yeah. I said, how'd you come across that wealth? Knowledge, motherfucker.
Knowledge,
I think about it all the time. I'm like, knowledge literally underpins fucking everything. Yeah. It's so bad. It's so twisted. I bait people into having this conversation with me just so I can drill into them. Like, knowledge is everything. Yeah. I do it like at the pub and the boys are like, oh, fucking here we go.
I know the answer to this one.
Yeah, like someone new walks in. I'm like, what's the most important thing in the world? The boys are like, shut the fuck up. Yeah. I think I've said it to Nick like 3 or 4 times. He's like, bro, I'm fucking over here in about a day.
Yeah, I feel like it, and when it comes to knowledge too, I really do believe it's really who you know. It's not what you know. Yeah. Who you know is starting to become more and more valuable to me the older I get. Yeah. Creating a network of people in general 100%. Is such a fucking 100%. Great fucking thing to do. And it's back to what we're talking about, the original part of manifestation. And I don't know, I had a point that I was getting at, but I completely fucking fumbled it out. Completely lost it.
I mean, I can try and piece where you were going.
I was trying to do too many things at once. I was like doing a juggling act of 3 different things. Forget it. Fucking forget it. If it comes back to me, it comes back to me. But, I was going
to say, making that support network, it's like that thing of like, whatever you put out comes back, like good karma, bad karma sort of thing. If you create and surround yourself with a network and you help your mates out when they're in a shit time, inevitably the more people that you have in that network, when you have a shit time, you got more people to help you.
Yeah. And it's good because you have so many different perspectives and so many different I feel like the answer's always there. You just have to know who to ask the answer for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly right.
Will Smith has this great quote, and somehow I just remember what I was going to say before, but Will Smith has this great quote where the only advice I can ever give anyone is to read and to run. Because when you run, you learn to overcome that inner bitch. Inner bitch is David Goggins' part of it. But like you overcome that feeling of telling yourself no because you've already made up your mind about what you want. So you go a bit further. Mm-hmm. And reading is any issue you ever have, someone else has gone through it and someone else has written it down.
Fuck.
Which is like...
That's so true.
It's the same concept of networking. The more people you know, the more people you meet, the more people you're polite to, the more knowledge you have. Yeah. 100%. And what I was going to get at earlier, which was relating to when we're talking about like growing up as what you consider to be like a delinquent, bad kid, all this shit. Maybe it's not necessarily our own faults, nor anyone else's faults who are going through it. It's just the circumstances you're in. And the only thing that we can have is luck on our side, you know what I mean? Like, maybe we're really, really just lucky that we didn't. Because, bro, I've fucking done so much dumb shit. Like, and to be, like, in the position I'm in now is not my own doing. It's really luck. Yeah. I could have killed myself. I could have killed others. I could have been in jail. I could have fucking died. I could have been a junkie. I could have done fucking anything. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. I could have lost people around me. I could have done anything. So I think luck is the only thing, and I think that's what I'm more grateful for. I don't I'm not going to take any pride in being in the situation I'm in.
Yeah, okay.
Because like I don't know, I'm so fixated on that idea. Yeah.
I feel like you've got to you got to have some sort of self-gratitude, like to at least some point. Like, yeah, the situation you might be in now, let's say before you started this podcast might have been because of luck, but you started this podcast not out of luck, you started it out of an interest. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there are definitely certain aspects that are fucking like 95% luck.
Yeah.
You're fuck, man. Like, fuck, every day is luck. Every day you could walk out the road and get hit by a car, but you don't. Luck. Luck, coincidence, whatever. So like there are some aspects that are definitely like due to that, but I feel like a lot of it is going back to before your subconscious work that you put towards shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's like you're right when it comes to circumstantial situations. I guess when it comes to like podcasting or being at the point in which I am at in my career, because I've decided to work towards those things. But at what point do I draw the line in the sand and be like, this is the point in which I decided to change my life around? You know what I mean? Like. You can't really pick that point. I can't pick that point in my own life.
You can't pick that point until it's already behind you.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things. Like, you never just sit down and go, okay, today I'm going to turn my life around. It's in 5 years when your life's turned around that you look back and you go, that was the moment right there when I had that conversation with someone, or when that person talked me off the ledge, or when that person fucking admitted me into fucking AA, or you know what I mean? Like, it's moments like that you never... Because you don't know what the future holds. You're not a fortune teller. You're not a mind reader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't tell the future. So you never know until it's happened. Until you're there. You never... I feel like saying like I don't know who said it, but it's like you never appreciate the journey until you've reached destination.
Oh, that reminds me of a fucking great one. Have you seen The Office?
I haven't finished it entirely, but I've seen some of it. Yeah.
There's this fucking... I will put a link in the description for the clip. I'll find it. And it's... Andy, you know Andy Bernard?
Yeah.
He says this quote where he's like, it's actually the very, very last episode, or second last episode, and he says, I wish there was, he's like, when I worked here in the office, all I ever thought about was the days back in college, and thought, oh, what a great time college was. And now that I've left this place, because it's getting the end of the season, he's like, all I think about was how good times were in this office. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've left them.
Fuck.
You know what I mean?
That's why they're called the good old days. Like, yeah.
So I kind of think of it like you're always in the good old days, eh? Always in the good old days. I reckon in 5 years from now, I'm going to look back and be like, fuck, life was so good there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, a lot of people had that during COVID as well. Like, during COVID, they're like, fuck, bro. Like, it's going back to taking things for granted. You don't realise how good things are until they're fucked off.
Yeah. Fuck, 100% I'm with you. There's this thing I need to do with you.
Yep.
Because I love doing it, and I feel like we'll never get to it because I could yarn to you all day. Dude.
Oh, bro, I've been literally trying not to look at my watch because I'm like, I don't want to know how long I've been chatting absolute shit for.
It's alright. I mean, keeping track of time. You don't have to leave it.
Oh, no, that's alright. No, that's cool.
Alright, so deep questions is the segment, and it's just to see if we could get to anything that we would have never gotten to. And I feel like if we had enough time, we would have actually gotten to it.
Probably, bro. It was deep off the bat. Like.
It was deep, bro. It was deep. But if I've had any of the questions before, I'll try and avoid them if I've had them too many times because some of them are very basic.
Yeah, it's mad.
But the first one I'm going to focus on is what motivates you.
In what aspect?
These were the questions for you to interpret.
Yeah, okay. Fuck, that's a fucking really good question, hey. I don't know. It's one of those things that, like, I think about all the time, but only in regards to something. So, like, what motivates me for my job or what motivates me to play sport? I guess what motivates me is just to be able to be happy in, like we were talking about before, like, living the life that I want to live and surrounding myself with the things that I want to surround myself. Like, I get up out of bed every day so that I can go study my course for the dream job that I want, or to go for a run so I can train for the sport that I love playing, or so I can go to the gym to feel good because it's something I enjoy doing, or to go and see my partner because I enjoy seeing her happy. You know what I mean? Or to go and fucking see the boys because I fucking love them. You know what I mean? Like, waking up every day and being motivated to do the things that I enjoy, I feel like would be the biggest thing.
That's mad. It sounds like you're motivated for a future that you want, that you're going to create. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's fucking sick. I always answer these questions too, so you don't feel like it's an interrogation.
That's cool.
Sometimes I will answer it first too.
Swinging light and shit. Like.
But what motivates me is very similar, but it's actually the opposite. So I'm motivated for the future, and how do I say this? It doesn't make sense if I say it like that. What motivates me is not getting to a stage in the future that I regret. That's what motivates me.
Yeah,
so I'm not
definitely.
that keen to get there because I'm there. I'm keen to get there. So I'm like, fuck, I wish I got there.
Yeah. Okay. No,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
That's
Yeah.
what
You don't want to.
motivates me.
You don't want to get there and then be like, fuck, I wish I did that.
It's like you're talking about with FOMO for things like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
It's the same concept.
Yeah.
I share that. I have that, and just that's what literally drives my life. It's like, fuck, do I ever want to get to a stage where I didn't accomplish this? No, I've got to accomplish this.
That's mad.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I live in fear of it. So
Yeah. No, that's fair.
that's a good one. I
Yeah.
like your answer.
Yeah.
And I'll
Can I
answer the next one
Yeah.
first. Oh, I found another good question.
Yeah,
and I'll
mate.
answer this one first. What do you think the world needs more of, love or truth? And I think if I had have answered this question any other episode up until this one, I probably would have said truth. Oh, fuck, no. I would have said love. I said that the wrong way around. I would have said love because I always thought ignorance is bliss, and I'd rather just fucking be happy than know the truth if the truth was detrimental to me. But I'm starting to think now I'm more interested in truth because I like to be logical now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really think love can be blinding, and
Yeah.
it might just be the fact that I haven't been in a relationship for a while that I'm forgetting what the peacefulness of being in love is. But I think that lately I'd say truth is more important to me. What about you?
I mean, I feel like my whole life I would have said truth. And even now, probably still to this day, I'd probably still say truth. I've always been a really logical person, more just in the fact of like, oh, fuck it, my missus would fucking, if she ends up watching this and she's watching right now,
She is.
fuck, she'll be at home nodding so bad.
Yeah.
I will say something, even if I'm like, it might hurt their feelings, fuck, I'll just say it. Because at the end of the day, I know for me personally, if I fuck up, tell me. Like, if I'm doing something wrong, tell me. You know what I mean? Like, at the end, there's no point. I fucking love saying this. There's no point fucking sugarcoating everything.
Yeah.
Because, like, at the end of the day, when something inevitably bad happens, if you've been sugarcoated and essentially, like, fucking bubble wrapped your whole life, it hits you so much harder. I feel like it's essential for growth as a person to just be truthful. In saying that, I feel like I was thinking about this while you were answering it. I feel like an element of love, obviously, is still like, you know, like for example, if I was using it in the point of my relationship, if I had no love or truth, fuck, we wouldn't be together. You know, it's a bit of a compromise.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like you said, love is blind. Sometimes it's okay to be a little bit blind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's for a cause sort of thing. Like it's for the betterment of your relationship with that person.
Yeah.
But I feel like using the truth with someone who understands that can allow love outside of that truth. You know what I mean? Like, I can be truthful all I fucking want, and at the end of the day, as long as they're like, okay, cool. You're like, truth over. You know what I mean? Like, it's like...
You can incorporate love more
you
into
can,
truth.
You can incorporate it as like a side aspect almost. Like, it's like they can exist in fucking harmony, but I feel like truth, for me, still fucking reigns supreme.
Yeah.
But
Good answer.
I get shit on all the time for being way too honest.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer. I like that perspective. Yeah. All right. Well, we share the same agreement then. Truth. All right. I'll let you answer the next question. All right. What about what's something you've always wanted to do but worried about people judging you for it?
Oh.
Before you answer that.
Something. What was it? Something I've always wanted to do but been scared I'm gonna get judged for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
You don't even necessarily have to be scared, but worried. Just worried someone will judge you for it.
That's a really fucking like. I'd have
The
to go
deep question.
Yeah, I'd have to go fucking searching for that. Holy shit.
I could jump in for you if you'd like.
Yeah,
First.
yeah.
I think that an easy one would be being younger. I think when I was younger, I always like had crushes, I guess, on certain people, and you just have that fear of not being good enough. But like, I guess I always overcame it. But that's just an easy one for me to think of as an example. So I'd say more in a sense of I've always wanted to. To be honest, there's so many moments in my life. I'm trying to think of a easy one because I do feel the judgment of other people. I do, definitely do. But I usually overcome them. That's one of the.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I usually do overcome them, and I've got good examples lately of people around me. Like shout out to Seth. I know Seth listening. He's started doing acting and performing. So like
That's mad.
watching him do it, like to be honest, that would be one I'd have to lock in. I'm admiring how courageous he is to get up and act, especially in front of the boys. Like that's
100%.
insane.
100%.
So I'd love to do that one day. I'm just fearful for it. So I'll lock that one in.
Yeah, well, that's. I mean, I would say the same. I would say the same thing, mainly because I have a bit of a backstory on it. I've been on TV once before.
No way.
Yeah, do you remember I used to get home from fucking primary school and you'd sit down on the couch and It's Academic would roll on?
Yeah.
I was on It's
No
Academic.
way,
Yeah,
bro.
I was 10, 11.
Yeah.
I was 11 years old. This little fat fucking kid with a number 2 all the way over. And bro, I remember I was so scared. By the way, they've got no live audience. It's all on a loop button, the claps. So I got in there and it's a fucking tiny room, eh? It is so tiny. But the lights are so bright you can't see the presenter until he's like walking up to you.
Wow.
And I was so shit scared. They've got this wall of cameras and I sat there like this, full turtlenecked in, made myself look so bad. And I didn't move my head. I had my hands on the table. Every time they asked me a question, I'd be like, meh, meh. Or like he'd walk around and I'd be like this. So I reckon that massively. Like, I mean, even just like, I feel like just being in the public eye a little bit, it's always something that like I'm not gonna lie, I'd fucking love it. I'd love it. I always find myself like not fantasizing, but just like thinking like to myself, daydreaming almost. Like, what would it be like if I was like in, let's say, like, I don't know, same shoes as like the Kid Laroi or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
You can't shake those thoughts. They're great.
No, you know what I mean? You always, I feel like everyone has them. Everyone has them. But, like, it even happened to me at uni, like, last semester. Like, I had to get up and talk just in front of, like, half of our unit. Mm-hmm. And I stood there and I had to sit back on the stage because my legs started shaking. My face went fucking bright red. And I was like, man, I wish... It's more so not... Actually, no, I feel like it is. It is. It's something that I'm scared about being judged about. That's why, like... And, like, I was talking... And I felt my voice crack a little bit and I apologised for it. I was like, sorry, fuck, my voice just went ham. And when I went back and sat down with my mates, they're like, no one heard your voice crack. Like, it's literally, it's all you. And I was like, thinking about it, like, I was so scared about what people thought of me. Like, people would be sitting there going, look at this cunt. Can't even fucking speak, bro. And, like, so, like, just being in the public eye, I guess, like, a bit more, in any aspect, like, even fucking, like, tonight, I was fucking shitting bricks before I come here. And, like, you know? Yeah. Only really the boys, maybe my missus will watch it, like out of people that I know at least. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe a couple of people from uni because I've told them. Yeah. You know, trying to flex.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, bro. Public speaking, I share it too. I'm actually shit scared of public speaking.
But I love debating.
Yeah.
I love arguing with people.
Yeah, me too.
I could never do it in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
Could never do it in front of a crowd.
I feel like what I do that's actually started to help me with it is because I kind of learned the skill from doing this podcast, but say I want to say something in front of a bunch of people at work, or we had a day where we had to do a photo day recently and they asked me to say a few words on camera because like, oh, we have practice behind a camera, you want to say something for the company. And I was like fucking freaked out as fuck, but I was just like, 100%. Like, I actually want to do it. Let's just ignore these fears. So what I do is I just pretend right before I'm about to do it that I am confident enough to do it. And that's what I do for I do that for a lot of things. Let's just act like I know what I'm doing. Let's act like I want to be here. Let's just pretend I'm that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. I feel like it's also one of those things that depends on who you're talking to. Like, I coached, like, sports teams forever, but they're all kids. I can fucking sit there and talk to kids. I could talk to a whole classroom of kids and be like, they're kids. They're dumb little fucking kids. I don't know.
It's stupid.
But as soon as I've got to talk to people like my age or older, people that have the potential in their life, or not even like my age, people that are even close to, people that have the potential to know more than me in a subject that I'm speaking about. That shatters my confidence, and I lose all of it.
I think it's important. I also disclaim often that, like, I'm just fucking working this out as I go. You know what I mean? That's 100%. That's literally my Instagram bio. Like, still figuring out my story. Want to watch, come for a ride, whatever it is. Because that's kind of how I try and attack every conversation I have. Like, I'm not pretending like I know what I'm talking about. This is just what's entering my mind. So, you know what
that's
I mean?
it.
Judge. If you want to judge, you're actually an idiot because I don't even believe it.
It's like, good luck, bro.
No, good answer. Good answer.
That was a good question. Fuck. And actually, I had to wait for your examples because I was like, fuck, I can't even, like, I couldn't, like, put a finger on it. But once you spoke, I was like, oh, I can actually think of heaps.
Oh, wait a minute. I fucking hate myself.
I was like, fuck, I'm actually shit. Be better.
All right. This is a good one, actually. And we'll do a couple more of these.
Yeah, man.
Can be yourself ever be poor advice? And I'm pretty strong on my opinion, so if you change it, I'm going to be impressed, to be honest.
No.
No. Okay.
Be yourself can't ever be bad advice.
Do you have a reason as to why?
Well,
Like
really,
what?
yeah, I do. So, like, putting it into words, it's the hard part. Well, being yourself is fucking to be to be yourself is to be the reason that you do everything. The reason that you're motivated for everything, like I said before, is to be happy. Being you is to be that, is to embody that. So I feel like if someone says, don't be yourself, why are you doing it? You know what I mean? Like, for example, let's say I'm going to be truthful. I'm a fucking loudmouth. I swear like a sailor, all the rest. If Catholic Church wanted to get me on to do a promotional video and they're like, don't be yourself, I'd be like, then why am I doing it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what you see is what you get. I'm always going to be myself. I feel like be yourself is never bad advice.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you. But I do understand what you're saying circumstantially, though, because
Shit, I was hoping I could change my mind.
you've definitely convinced me in a situation like of the Catholic Church wanting to have you doing it because you're not being yourself. That's what I understand. But I see be yourself, there's missing words inside of it because I think of myself as intrinsically lazy. Like, I don't know if intrinsically was the right word to use, actually. I threw that one in there.
Well, intrinsically is internally.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, it was. So I am necessarily a lazy person and I have to convince myself often to do things that I don't want to be doing in the moment. So if in the moment I'm the type of person who doesn't want to be doing it and I take that advice, then I'm not going to do it. I think the quote should be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's what actually pushes people to strive, to be motivated, to be disciplined, to be their own character. You know what I mean? Like being loud and being swearing like a sailor, all these things, that's not bad advice for someone to tell you. If you were to be that person, it's not bad advice. But to be the best version of yourself would be to go in there with the best attitude. If you woke up and had a shit day and someone said just be yourself, then you're going to be you'll be loud, you'll be swearing, but you're going to be very negative about it.
Well, now that I've heard that, I'm also thinking as well, I feel like it really depends on the person that you're giving that advice to. Because, for example, like, let's say you said you think of yourself as intrinsically lazy, that might not be good advice for you. But for someone who's like, if they're like, oh, I've got to get up and do this and do that, and they get up and just fucking do it, like no questions asked, that could be great advice for them. I feel like it's really person dependent. Yeah. But
like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna get up and do it.
I get what you're saying, 100%. It makes a lot of sense.
Because I'm going to be the top person who gets up whatever time of day calls for me to do it. And I'm still going to tackle everything I need to tackle.
But it's getting there.
But it's only because I'm overriding that inner bitch, you know what I mean? Like, I'm being the best version of myself. I'm not being a victim to the worst version of myself.
Oh, that's strong.
Yeah.
That's strong. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So I can't say you convinced me 100%, but you actually started to make me keep my eyes open to the idea that it's important to not be a fake person. Yeah. Nice. All right. I like that answer. All right. Here's a good one. Would you rather die in 20 years with no regrets or die in 50 years with many regrets?
20 years, no regrets.
Yeah, I think the same thing too. And I used to think 50. And then it's like, if I was to have regrets that lasted 30 years, I must have done some fucked up shit.
Yeah. But the way I was thinking about it too, I was like, look, obviously I'd like 50 years more on this earth if I got to choose, because, you know, that's more time spent with friends, loved ones, this, that, and that. But at the end of the day, going back to earlier, and even going back to your first or second question or whatever about the truth or love question, I feel like if you're not completely happy with how you've lived your life, then why did you live it? Like, it's a very harsh, actually, like, retrospect, like, sort of mindset. But if you're not happy with how you lived your life, unless you've decided to solely dedicate giving your life to fucking others, which, don't get me wrong, sounds great in fiction, but I feel like it's completely implausible, because every person in this world deserves their own quality of life for themselves. So, like, you can spend your days, you know, in missions and doing this and doing that and giving back to the community and really living your life for other people, even to the point where you're sacrificing food, you're sacrificing sleep, money, you're sacrificing things that might make your life good. But at the end of the day, you would do something like that for your own personal merit, because it's something that you want to do. So I feel like living a life with regret would be fucking shit.
Oh, it would be so hard, bro.
And I'm a person.
My motivation.
I'm a person that gets such a guilty conscience too. So it would fucking eat me alive. I'd probably end it before 50. If it was that bad that I had to live with it for an extra 30 years, I'd probably end it before then.
But, like, as we were talking about before, that, like, you're a result today of every decision you've ever made So, like, what if that was the point in which you decided to change because you've regretted your life so far? You know what I mean? The question isn't necessarily that you die and have this
with
regret,
those regrets. Yeah.
but oh no, it is. Never mind.
Oh.
Forget what I was gonna.
But forget that for a minute. That would be a good point.
Yeah.
That would be a good point. Oh fuck, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mad.
Alright. We'll do. I said we'd do a couple more, but I'm gonna do 2 more from now.
Oh man,
Two more from now.
sweet. I'm cool.
When was the last time you lost yourself in a conversation?
Today.
Good.
Today. Easy.
Me too.
Without a fucking shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'm like, even literally just then, I was like, oh, bring it back to truth and love. And I was like, why did I bring it back to that? I was like, fuck, what am I talking about? Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's happened to me so often. I'm like, and I feel like I have the potential to do it so often as well. Like, I will start the most engaging conversation I ever could. And I'll be engaged in it for so long, and I have that split second where I like think of something momentarily completely different, and I come back and I'm like, where the fuck am I?
Oh, dude,
I come back and I'm like,
so hard.
I'll be like, oh man, like it's fucking crazy how the sky's blue, and then I'm like, oh, I wonder if I locked the door, and I come back and they're like, yeah, it's flat. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
How did we get
How
here?
did I get here?
Yeah. Where was I one second ago?
I hate that so much.
It's
I do it all the time.
It's a skill that I'm learning to get better and better and better at because like I have to like perform kind of, you know what I mean? So it's like I do get lost so many times mid conversation. It's easy for me to pick myself back up, but that's just because I'm firing out ideas like, fuck, what he mentioned before led me down this path, and it's like, I want to ask him about this quickly. Don't forget to ask him this little gem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like I've been thinking it the whole time. I'm like, if I go back and listen to this when it comes out, am I gonna sound like am I gonna listen to myself and go, brother, what the fuck were you talking about? Like I can tell you're waffling. Like I might not have had a physical like moment where I've been like but like I'm like, have I just been filling in the gap with like random words? They're like talking about the world. And I'm like, fucking duck ice cream. And it's like, what kind of like
I don't think so. Sometimes I watch back, I listen to myself, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? One thing I notice when people watch it back, they don't necessarily like listening to themselves because it's new, it's odd, it's different.
Yeah, I feel like I'll be like that.
But you'll learn to love it. You really will. You'll learn to love it. Yeah. All right. Good one. Now it's time for one more. So I'll find a good one for this last one.
All right, man. I mean, they've all been pretty fucking solid so far.
Yeah, I've liked them.
They've been really solid.
Yeah, not all of these I've had before, which is pretty good.
Yeah, well, when you said deep questions, I was like, oh, shit. Like, how deep?
Sometimes they get pretty deep. I'm skipping over some real deep ones because I'm not in the entire mood to talk about when was the last time I cried? What was your biggest fucking regret? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
fuck.
If you had one person you let down, why? You know, things like that. It's like, let's not go into that last.
Yeah, no.
Let's not
Bit of a positive note, eh?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Fuck, I might leave you in tears if we get some shit like that. Fucking hell.
I've had a couple times on the podcast. I've had one time where my guest actually did cry. It was a powerful moment on the episode. That was episode maybe 17 with Haz Ghazali talking about his own son because he doesn't spend much time with his son. Yeah. And you know, since that episode, he hasn't been back to Australia. He's been overseas with his son.
Oh, that's unreal.
That's pretty crazy.
Good. That's powerful.
I'm not going to pretend like it was because of the podcast, but like it just shows that he really meant what he was saying.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Oh, that's bad.
He had plans to open up a gym, and like I was keen for the gym. A lot of the boys were keen for this gym, but like I'm proud of him.
Got to put it first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
That's good. That's good. I do like that.
All right. This is a good question because we can go back and forward with it. So it says, what are 3 key elements to every successful relationship? So we can take turns of answering them. So we're going to have a total of 6. And I think I'm going to let you answer first.
Okay. Ooh. I'm trying to, are you like ranking them in like from like your most important or just in general? Okay. Well, I don't know whether to go the obvious answer or to be like, one that's like the one that's got a bit more meaning.
It's sorry to cut you off, but it's like before when you said you mentioned a lot of things that you consider to be cliche for this podcast, but cliche is cliche is a word to describe the best way of saying something. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like love, obviously, is probably it's definitely got to be your tip top. Fucking otherwise, why are you there?
Yeah.
Or is this relationship is in like an intimate relationship or just a relationship in general? I suppose you could tailor love to either.
Let's say every type of relationship.
Okay, I would still probably say love. Yeah, I'd still probably say love. It's like at the end of the day, like you've got, I suppose, but then you've got like business relationships and shit like that where like it's no love, but it's for a common ground. It's for a common ground, But I suppose you've
But I
still
guess
got to
that
have
could be
you've
what
got to have
that-
an element of love for that common ground.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
why are you doing
I was
it?
about to say that. Exactly right. Exactly right. Well, great answer.
Mm.
I'd say one would be one that I'm not very good at, and it would be compromise.
Mm.
Compromise is one thing that I just haven't got that bone, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I feel like that's a fucking huge thing, compromise. Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm not planning to get into a relationship, because I'm not willing to compromise.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I mean, that's fuck, man. Sometimes you're just not.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll openly say to someone, if someone's like if I'm in any scenario where compromise would be needed, and if I'm not feeling like it, I'm just going to go, look, mate, I'm not going to budge right now.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to do this right now, we don't have to do it right now.
Yeah.
Like, we can do it later when I'm in a better mood.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
after I have a feed or something.
Yeah.
I get hangry so bad.
Yeah.
I'd probably say for another one, trust. Trust is huge. Huge.
Trust is one of those ones that you have to kind of like.
You don't have to trust them completely, but you can't throw caution to the wind. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to have something there to go off. So at the end of the day, like, for any kind of relationship, even a one-day relationship that you have with selling someone a car, for instance. I'm trying to sell my car at the moment. If anyone wants to buy a Ranger, let me know.
Link in the description.
Link in the description. I promise it's all sweet. No, it is sweet. No, but like, it's like, even just like something as insignificant as like a quick relationship just to try and sell something even. Like, you've got to have trust that they're gonna show up with the money. You gotta have trust that they're not gonna send fucking 8 dudes running through your house. You know what I mean? Like, it literally works its way into fucking everything. I feel like.
You have to have trust in your partner that they're not going to run off with the neighbor. You're going to have trust in your business partner that he's not going to run off with the money. Yeah, I'm with you. Trust is definitely a good one. All right. I'd say, I don't know the right word for it, but I'm going to try and describe it, then hopefully I can create the word. But when you are allowing someone else to not be at their best performance all the time, you know what I mean? Like, say you have a coworker, and then and Greg, if you listen, this is not about you, trust me. I don't promise you. But say you're working with someone, and then all of a sudden they start slacking off, or they start to be a bit lazy. You have to be lenient in a sense that you can't let that define who that person's character is. And it's the same if you're in a relationship. If someone wants to be a bit more selfish, or someone wants to be a bit more, I don't know, self-deprivating, whatever they're doing in that moment, you have to be lenient. Lenient's the word.
Yeah.
Lenient. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I get that 100%. Yeah, I suppose, well, because it's like you said before, you know what I mean? Like, when you were talking about, like, you're intrinsically lazy in that moment, it's one of those things. It's like, sometimes you can just never help how you feel in a moment. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of it. Like, it's just, sometimes shit just fucking happens.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, like, you could be a good person your whole life, and then you do one thing that might not actually be, in the grand scheme of things, not that bad, but to you, who's been nothing but good their whole life, that could be fucking world shattering. Like, you know what I mean? But that doesn't define who you are. I feel like it's almost like a cost benefit. It's like, if you were to put it, it's like in a spreadsheet, cost versus like income. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, to an extent, at least. You know what I mean? Like, fucking depends on the cost.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, if you kill someone, you can be good your whole life and kill someone, you're a shit cunt.
Well, that reminds me of a joke, actually. It's this guy, he's hanging out in a bar, and he's just not complaining, but he's just very sorrow and down. And by the way, I don't remember the jokes. I'm going to try and make it up as I go. So the guy's just really sulky and sad, and the bartender asks him, he's like, "What's wrong, buddy?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just not fair. It's just not fair." And he starts asking, "Why? What's not fair?" And you know, his phone's blowing up, and he's just not happy with the things that people are saying to him. And he's like, "Dude, you work your whole life, and you really try, and you save a lot of money, and then all of a sudden you get a qualification of an electrician, and then no one starts calling you electrician. And then, you know, you decide that's not working, so you go and study medicine, and then all of a sudden you become a doctor, but people don't think and refer to you as doctor. But you fuck one goat." Yeah,
so true, but so true, but
yeah, I love
that is funny. But that's also, like, it actually raises a good point. Sometimes you are defined by the shit points in your life. You are defined by the shit points. But I feel like that's when you cross a certain line.
Yeah,
when you cross a certain line.
Yeah.
But like, if you fucking, I don't know, you litter, fucking people aren't gonna be like, "Oh my god, that's the kind of fucking litter."
Yeah.
What a dick.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, this guy one time fucking insulted this one person. Like,
Yeah.
this guy's a bad person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Leniency.
yeah, no,
I'll lock that
100%.
one in.
Yeah,
All right.
that's a good one.
4?
That's 4. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
4. So what have we had so far? We've had
Love.
compromise, trust, and
and
leniency.
Whoa, fuck, we fit some fucking nail ones. So
Fuck. Yeah. Whoa. What else could I fucking wedge in there? Ooh, I got a good one. Consistency.
yeah, nice.
Consistency. Like, I know it sort of goes hand in hand with leniency. Like, you can't expect someone to be always consistent, but like, or not even consistency, just acting towards consistency.
Yeah,
So I feel like at least
progression
intention,
almost.
intention,
Yeah.
like intent to be consistent. Because like I
Yeah.
feel like if I wake up one day and I treat my missus like a queen, and then the next day I get up and do the same thing, and then for 3 days in a row I treat her like a fucking cunt.
Yeah.
Those 3 days of being a cunt versus those 2 days of being loving. Just gonna remember the 3 days I was a cunt
Yeah.
because it was longer and it was more consistent.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know.
That's a great point.
I feel like consistency is huge. Like, you never, if you're just like sort of coming across as a really nice person one day and then you're a cunt for the rest, people are like, well, what was his goal for him being nice? What was his aim? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'm with you with that. Fuck, I like that. That made me think a bit. I like that one. Nice. All right. Well, one more then, eh?
yeah.
That's 5. Yes. Fuck.
Yeah.
Now I got to think of the last one.
Yeah.
Great. Pressure.
It's all right. Just cut it out.
Yeah. No one will know. No one will know. I want to say pride. You have to fucking carry yourself. If you don't carry yourself and put yourself first and try and be the best version of yourself in any relationship, then it's not going to work out.
Yeah, no, that's true. And not even just pride in yourself, but pride in that relationship as well. Like, I mean, you can use that with any kind.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I get what
like
you're saying.
being proud of the relationship that you have with a mate, being proud of a business relationship that you've just made, and, you know, all the fruitful sort of things that can come from that.
That's a way healthier mindset than what I was just thinking too.
Bro,
Mine came from a point of ego.
I
Yours
told
came
you,
from
man.
a point of place. That was cool.
Yeah, right. No, I told you, man. These last 12 months have been fucking. I've changed so much. Like, it's
Yeah.
just fucking. I've flipped.
Wow.
I've done a full 180.
Pride in the situation, not in yourself. Yeah. All
Well, it
right.
can be both. It can be both. The pride in
Yeah,
yourself
yeah.
or pride in the situation. I was more thinking just in regards to like the relationship.
Yeah. Nah, fuck,
Pride
that
in
was
that.
sick. He opened my mind to that. That was cool. I'm
Changed
gonna.
one perspective tonight.
Yeah. I think that just touching on relationships as well. Is it just me that shares this opinion that when you're in a relationship and everything's going good, everything is so good, but as soon as things start to go bad, do you have and it's not just in a relationship with a partner, but do you start to think that like this is just bad all the time? And when things are good all the time, do you think they're good all the time? Or
Like-
are you able to have more perspective as it's fluctuating?
Like, you mean as in like when it's good and then something bad happens, I think that everything's bad all the time in that relationship, or as a whole?
Yeah,
like,
in the situation you're
okay.
in. Because I do suffer from that. When I'm in a good place, it's always been good, but as soon as it goes sour, it's always been sour. I'm not very good at grasping that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a little bit of context as well. Like, if like it obviously depends on what this bad situation is that's happening. Like, if it's something that is recurring, then I feel like, well, yeah, you might not think that. Like, for me personally, I might not think that everything's bad, but my mind will instantly go to, fuck, that food downstairs smells so good, eh? Sorry to sidetrack. But no, like, I feel like your mind instantly just goes back to similar moments where either the same thing or very similar things have happened, and that can have a really negative impact on how you view that whole relationship now, because you're like, fuck, it's something going back to it's something that's consistently happening. It's the same thing over and over again. I feel like that can be really like detrimental to how you perceive that whole relationship. But if it's something that's like, for example, let's say 1 week she forgets to call me and I'm like, oh, that's pretty shit. And then the next week she forgets to, I don't know, or something.
Take the rubbish out.
Yeah, like if it's different things that are happening, I feel like most people are less susceptible to be like, that's shit. Like a shit attitude or it's shit behavior or whatever. It's just shit in general. I feel like, for me at least, I feel like I can definitely right then and there in that moment be like, that's fucking, like if it's something pretty shit. I'm like, that's fucking shit house.
Yeah,
Like, that is so poor in any relationship. That's so poor. They're such a fuckwit, this and that. But I'm so privy to being so honest up front. So I'll be so angry, I cool off like within like 20 minutes. So I'll be like, okay. I might just think back on it and be like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a massive, like, if you had to paint it like scales, I'm a massive, you know, things outweigh each other, like yin and yang, fucking all that bullshit. You know, I feel like everything really either balances or cancels each other out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to say it was Albert Einstein. I'm not even going to bother fact checking it. But it's like every action has an equal but opposite reaction.
Oh, Newton.
Is it Newton?
Yeah,
well, Newton.
Newton's
I feel like
second law.
that's so true. I feel like that you can apply that to everything in life. Like, that's truly applicable in any scenario.
Well, I definitely believe that. I'm a foundational yin and yang. That based my whole life around that. That's kind of why the star sign Libra makes sense to me, because it is scales.
Yeah. I was actually thinking that when I said scales, I was going to be like, a bit Libra of me. But...
Libra of me. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I guess I am referring to it when things are reoccurring.
Yeah. Okay. Well, definitely when things are reoccurring, I feel like it's very easy to fall into that mindset. Like, I 100% agree with you. But I feel like as soon as you've got the knowledge that you have the potential to fall into that mindset, you've already won, because you've already had the ability, you've shown the ability that you yourself can go, it's just a mindset because of the situation. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things that you're like, it's relative.
Yeah.
Like, if it didn't happen, like, let's say it's a consistent thing that's happened, it's happened 4 times already. I'm sure the 4th time it happened, you thought the same thing. You've gone 2 months and it hasn't happened again. That 5th day, let's say at 1 in 2 universes, one, it happens, you think about it. It doesn't happen, you don't think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not reminded of it. Until something happens where you are reminded of it, you have the potential to fall into that hole. But if you're not reminded of it, fuck, you don't think about it. You know what I mean? And it brings you back to that point of when it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Whenever anything's good, you're positively influenced, because I feel like that's the mind's way of shutting out all the shit that's happened.
Yeah.
You just focus on positivity and manifesting it and all that shit. If something bad happens, me personally, when something bad happens, I have the tendency to get angry, and then I'll always think to myself as, shit happens.
Yeah, nice.
Shit happens is like a fucking mantra in my life, honestly. Because if I don't say fuck it, shit happens, it broods over and over, and I fucking cannot stop thinking about it.
What a perfect little fucking gem, bro. Shit happens.
I love it. I use it every day. I'll be like someone cuts me off and I'll be like, you fucking idiot. And then I think about all the times that I've done that, and I'm like, well, shit happens.
I think that too. Every time someone does something dumb on the road, I actually don't even react. I just being that guy.
Yeah, well, in my head, I'm like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but you're all right.
Fucking nuts.
You're all right. Yeah. Maybe his wife's pregnant or something. I don't know. So we always think of other people's circumstances and shit, and you're like, fuck, it's not that bad.
Yeah. It's like you see someone on their phone, they cut you off and like, fucking idiot.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you fucking idiot, and then like a FaceTime call pops up, and you're like, hey, how you going?
Yeah, I love it. Oh, that was a great final question of that. But there's one more final question that I do like to ask everyone that comes on. But before I ask it, I have to say, thank you so much, bro.
No, thank you so fucking much for having me.
This has been a gang episode, bro.
This has been fucking mad. I've loved this so much.
It's healthy to yarn, bro.
Yeah,
it really is.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's our weekly therapy session.
That's so good. To anyone out there, have a yarn. So good. So worth it.
Yeah. All right. Well, the final question is just a piece of advice for anyone who might need it. And that's, what would you say to someone that came to you because they were feeling depressed, mostly because they were feeling lost?
Have a yarn. Have a fucking... Honestly, I cannot stress it enough. Like, I've got mates that like own businesses that were like, I'm struggling, I don't know what to do, I'm thinking of shutting it down, and just having a conversation with other mates of mine that are like, okay, let's work this out. You know what I mean? Like, going back to the support network thing before, the more people you have there, the more people that there are that can help you. The more answers that you seek, the more people you have, the more answers that come. So I feel like definitely just making sure that you fucking got people, but surround yourself with good people. Have a yarn. At the end of the day, if you're depressed or feeling sad or anxious or whatever because you don't know an answer to one of life's many fucking hurdles, chances are someone else has done it. Like Will Smith said, read or run.
Yeah. Dude, what an answer. I liked what you just threw in the middle there too. The more questions, the more answers you seek, the more people you speak to. Like, that's mad. I'm actually gonna write that down.
Something of a philosopher myself.
No, but it was a good answer, bro. And I haven't even had an answer like that before, and it's just have a yarn with someone. Because, fuck, it's so good, bro.
Well, at the end of the day, you've just got to... I feel like people have a tendency to overcomplicate everything. People have a tendency to overcomplicate things. Just fucking take a breath, simplify it. If you've got a problem, what do you need to do?
Yeah.
You need to solve it. If you can't think of it on your own, fuck, phone a friend, bro.
Yeah.
All right, have a yarn.
And if anyone listening that doesn't have a friend, phone me, just straight up.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm not going to read your YouTube comment because I feel like it's a dangerous path for me to go down. But if you reach out to me on social media, I will reply.
Maybe. 3 to 4 business days.
Yeah, no, bro, honestly, I couldn't thank you enough for coming over and just having the ability to be like, you know what, I'm going to do this and not focus on the uni work does mean a lot.
No,
it really does, bro.
Honestly, it's been such a fucking pleasure being here.
Yeah.
It's been so good.
I don't speak to you enough, bro.
No, it's been, we say this every time we hang out. We're like, oh, bro, I've been spoken to you in so long, cunt. Like, what's going on? No.
I think we just have one of those friendships, honestly, that we could not see each other for a fucking long time, and it'd be another podcast, bro.
100%.
Cameras or not.
100%. But it was like that last time we were at Ryan's place, man. Just sitting out in the balcony chatting absolute shit. It's, I don't know. That's a kind of friendship that I fucking value a lot as well. Because a lot of my really good mates that I have around me at the moment, I don't speak to all the time. Like, I've got the boys that I speak to mostly, but like, for example, I could not speak to them for 2-3 months and come back and pick it all up right where it left off. Do a quick catch up and then I'm like, sweet. So who's going for a slap? I know it's you two. I know you two will never lose
revive
it.
me,
Like,
you fucking dog.
Revive me, you fucking cat. Let's go. No, it's just, it's one of those things. It's one of those things that I appreciate so much in life is just good people.
Oh, fuck. I was thinking as you said it, bro.
You just can't beat a good cunt.
Yeah.
Cannot.
Fuck yeah. Well,
Cannot.
beautiful episode, bro.
Thank you very much.
Means a lot
It's
to me.
fucking so good to be a part of it.
Yeah, fuck, gang. All
Gang,
right.
gang. Let's
Alright.
go.
Shawty catch a vibe, yeah, I had to put her on. Bought a 2-seater, yeah, we heading for the sun. Shawty going high, I ain't tripping for the funds. Yeah, I won't start, I ain't tripping, I'm a stunt.